Good evening, and welcome to the Guardtower Presents. We would like to start off by apologizing about that little technical issue and thank Microsoft for the forced security updates with no announcement. That was wonderful. So, again, thank you for joining us as we perform some studio tests here to make sure the studio is up and running. I guess it needs a little bit of work on that, but we've added some new capabilities, and what better way to test them out than to explore the doomed city of Granitegard. And if you haven't, we ask that you go over to Linktr.ee /dcog to check out all of our media platforms. You can also find the Guardtower's Twitch and links to their YouTube channel there. And that is linktr.ee /dcog. Am I all right? So just making sure we had another glitch going on there. And again, that's Linktr.ee /dcog. And if you've missed any of our other episodes prior to tonight, you can go onto the Guardtower's YouTube channel. And every Friday evening at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we post last week's episode. So what you see tonight will be posted next Friday at 4 o'clock. So you can check that out again, just because I know it's going to be so amazing. Tonight, we are featuring minis by Chris Wolfgang over at Glittering Cave Studios, as well as Tony Thefferson is providing minis tonight. And we have special terrain elements by Chris Fields, which I think will be quite amazing when we bring those out for you to take a look at there. But for your own cables, go ahead and stop by the Guardtower, either the east or west location, or go to www.theguardtower.com. And from there, you can acquire minis, paints, maps, and accessories that will bring your adventures and campaigns to life. So definitely stop by there and see what they've got available. Tonight, I'd like to welcome Amanda back. She has made her Constitution saves and is well enough to rejoin the party. But unfortunately, the Reverend Goodberries, played by Joe, will not be here this evening. He's out of town, and we wish him safe travels, and we'll be happy to play with him again next week. We do have two new individuals joining us. Adam is going to be playing Skeets this evening, and Stas, well, we'll have to wait and see who Stas plays tonight. And I do believe that Roger has some exciting announcements for us, so we're going to pass it on over to Roger.
Yes, we have an amazing giveaway going on right now, currently on our Discord server. It is so remarkably simple to join. All you have to do is go to the amazing socials, which Will has already shared at Linktr.ee /dcog. Find out how to get onto our server. It's as easy as clicking join. Once you've made your way there, go down to the giveaways channel. You'll be able to see some of the awesome things and the awesome rules. But I think it'd be better if we showed some of the amazing product that we're looking to give away. Ooh.
Stas is not included though.
Product. And more so than this, stickers, t-shirts, and more can be found on our website. You can find all this information and more. Where, everyone? On our Linktree.
/dcog.
/dcog. And if I could make a single recommendation, find a way that befits all local laws and other federal regulations, and find a way to tell your friends about our server, because they really want to know. But certainly don't break any federal regulations. Back to you, Will.
That part is very important, yes. Okay, so I believe that wraps up the business end of things. So who's ready to throw some dice?
Woo!
All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and roll our intro, and we'll see you here in just a few moments.
Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb, and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls. daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the north hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard.
All right, and welcome back. So we're going to start off with a recap, and then we're going to jump into our adventure. After forming a partnership with the eccentric Versigalis Rex, our party prepared to set off to investigate Granitegard. However, their plans were interrupted by a mother pleading for someone to help rescue her missing child. Following the raiders' trail into the Shambles, an urban area just outside of Granitegard, they were ambushed by a terrible creature that called itself the Collector. However, fortune did favor our party, and they were able to defeat the beast, sending it scurrying off into the night, screaming in pain and vowing revenge. It was not long thereafter that our heroes stumbled across the Two Flagons Tavern, where a horde of goblins had taken the children. They were able to defeat the goblin leader, a bugbear named Rorg the Bloody, and vanquish the fiends. But during the ensuing struggle, Mary was stabbed in the back with a poisoned blade. Anna was able to save Mary's life and stave off the worst effects of the poison, but still it rendered their friend unconscious. And while Anna was tending to Mary, the rest of the party proceeded below the tavern and discovered the missing children there. They also discovered that the goblins had been using the humans to make tunnels deep into the earth, searching for something. Probing further into these tunnels, they discovered what the goblins were after: a wall of an earthly black granite that had a magically sealed door sitting upon it. But neither the party nor the goblins had been able to discover a way in. The party has also discovered the last goblin that had been cowering in the tunnel at the end. Skeech the Delver was quick to give the party answers to the questions that they asked, and due to the abuses that he had suffered from his fellow goblins, he was more than willing to aid the party in exchange for his life. He was even more surprised, however, when the party took them along with them rather than leave him to his own fate. The group triumphantly returned to Newtown with the missing children, reuniting the mother, Katja, with her own daughter, Anna, which happened to share the same name as one of our party members. The next day, the party let Mary recover from her wounds in the room, and they set off into the city to run some errands. Vaughn sought out the Wild Rose Bakery, where he discovered the owner, Rosalind Mercer, was a cherished acquaintance from his past. The two were overjoyed to see one another. But the joy was cut short when the Reverend Goodberries announced that he needed to depart the group to attend to personal business. And this is where we're going to pick up this evening. So you all had finished up with your business within the Wild Rose and had stepped outside into the morning. The Wild Rose, if the air from the bakery still is sort of fresh in the air there, reminding you of the savory tastes of the meal that you had just enjoyed. The roadway that circles the interior of Newtown, you kind of look back and forth, you don't see the Reverend Goodberries anywhere. You kind of expected to see him because it wasn't that far after you had after he had left that you step outside, but looking to and fro, you don't see him anywhere. And while the streets are quite lively with all manner of folk moving to and fro and going about their business, it's anything but crowded. So again, it should have been very easy to see where your friend is gone. And so my question comes to you, what are you doing?
Did he make any mention of what his plans were? Just took off after all we've been through.
Is this something he normally does?
No.
Yes.
Maybe we get stories from both of you. Your experiences seems to be something misshapen here.
Well, for most of our time together on the trail, he was there the whole time. He was the guy who would make friends with people, get us places. He would shake the hands, have the conversations that got us places to stay at night. And I thought we were becoming friends, to be honest. So, this surprises me.
He sells things. Every time a caravan came by, he would go off with them for just a couple of hours, maybe like a day or so, and then come back. He has his potions to sell.
But this seemed more final, didn't it?
He'll be back.
I don't know. When?
I forgot you were here. I don't know.
This is unfortunate, but I don't think we can let this slow us down. You believe that he'll return?
Oh, he'll be back.
I guess the question I should ask now is, do we think this is a good thing for us or a bad thing for us?
I mean, without Mary or the Reverend, I mean, who's going to keep us alive now if we get into trouble?
We keep ourselves alive by the decisions that we make.
That's a good point.
In the distance, you all hear, "Get sirs, milady. And you see this young woman jogging up the main road towards you folks. After a second or two, you recognize her. It's Aster from the Red Valerian Inn, Zilda's younger daughter, the one that had brought you breakfast earlier that morning. And you can see her cheeks are flushed. Her hair is just kind of fluffing and blowing in the air as she's running towards you all, waving. Wait, sirs. And she gets up to you and kind of, she's like, your friend, Milady Carrie, she's arisen and is inquiring where you are. She's taking breakfast now in the inn. She begs you that you come see her. That's a long run.
Well, that's, I guess, one of them.
Thank goodness. Oh. Shall we head back that way? Just to
Yeah.
unite the party? Oh, wonderful.
Quickly.
Off you all head back to the Red Valerian. As you move back out into the main drag, that main circle that runs around the center of town there, moving towards the front gate where it has that T intersection that leads down to the gate itself off the main drag, you hear this, "Oi, Echo, Damon, oi!" And the old man from the caravan, Mr. Driscoll, is waving the two of you over. "Hey, come on over.
Hey, Mr. Driscoll, what's up?
He smiles, just this huge, almost like the proud papa kind of smile at you folks. He's there, the rosacea on his cheeks is flushing him all red. She's like, "Oh, you lads did such a great job." He's like, "I knew you was do it, but I want to say goodbye before we set off. Caravan's done here in town. Goods is sold. We're heading up north to go finish up our business up in the Concordance. Got to get to Greenspan and get back out of there before the winter sets in. We ain't looking to spend a winter up here in the northern freeze. Took us off, not when we got plenty of business down south. But wanted to congratulate you folks and say you did such a good job here in town. So if you see us out on the road sometime, if you want to hook back up with us, we'd be proud to have you again." And you can look and see that the whole caravan's kind of lined up down the street. You do see the tax collector is back out. This time he's got a man standing next to him. Looks like one of the grievesmen is individual standing next to him. Kind of keep an eye as he's looking at his book and he's collecting, keeps looking back up, like pointing down to it. Cast an eye over to your group and you can see him looking at your group. And he goes back to his business. Again, that eyeball is kind of cast towards Skeech there, like, not quite as tall as the Reverend should be. So yeah, he's back to doing his work there as you all are standing in front of the caravan at this point. Aster's like, okay, I gotta get back. I gotta help my mother. Is that okay?
We're coming with, I believe. Is this? Do you need a moment to say goodbye to your friend?
It was a pleasure traveling with you. I will come with you.
Very well.
It was a pleasure traveling with you. I will come with you.
Goodbye. And back to the caravan he turns and back down the trail you go. Arriving at the Red Valerian Inn, open the front doors, stepping on through, and you can see the only person right now in the tavern is Mary Carey, enjoying her breakfast. Her back is turned to you right now. There's whatever it is that you have ordered for breakfast in front of you. You can see that Big Tom is in the back doing dishes, and Aster walks back to the kitchen to help her grandmother with some stuff. Zilda brushes by you. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "I got to go up get the rooms taken care of. If y'all need something, just yell back to the kitchen. We'll get you done, all right?"
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
No problem. And upstairs she goes to begin getting the room squared away.
What?
Her name is Carrie. She's one of us. Carrie's awake.
Thank you.
Do you guys mind?
Yeah.
Right now, she
Walk
has no
over, yeah.
idea you all have
Just
entered
eating
it.
my biscuits.
Biscuits and gravy.
We'll walk over to the table and be like, I'm so glad you're alive.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure about it there for a minute.
Yeah, me neither.
Was it you who saved me?
You know what? I didn't do much, but I did do.
I'm
a
still
little-
here.
Oh.
Well, I saved you
Yeah.
some biscuits. I knew that's what you'd want.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Here you
Oh,
go.
thank you. You know just what I wanted.
You're one of the first people I thought of when I woke up. I thought biscuits, and I thought Anne. And here we are.
Yeah, perfect.
Those are your two thoughts when you woke up from your near-death experience?
Yeah,
Biscuits and Anna?
I was in the inn.
That's a deep friendship. That's impressive.
Well, I faintly remember her being there tending to me. It gets a little blurry, a little feverish, if you will.
You know
What?
Same here. Yeah.
What?
You rushed in so quickly to save the Reverend. That was quite brave.
Why is he still in disguise?
Dis-
Did we make it out?
Disguise?
Did we get the children?
Yes, we got
What happened to him?
we got the children. Yes.
Why is Goodberry's like that?
Well, what do you mean?
He wasn't talking as much, and he's covered. Is he wounded again? I thought I fixed him. Right?
Oh,
bandaged his
you
head?
see this like realization pass over Vaughn.
Did you help him out too?
No.
Oh, okay. Reverend, are you all right? Am I still dreaming? Is this? Am I dead?
I don't think so.
Is this?
This may be a. We should talk to the Reverend upstairs about their new appearance. This may not be the best place to talk about why they still look like this.
Are the kids okay?
Kids are fine.
The kids?
The kids are fine.
Okay, so this
We
is
got
all
everybody
good.
out.
We're good.
Yep, we're good.
Are the biscuits good?
The biscuits are
Okay.
amazing. Yeah.
I know they're good. Okay.
But finish your breakfast. We can chat about this upstairs in a moment.
I've eaten plenty, sitting here waiting for you guys. I'd like to know what's going on.
The Reverend's fine. Look, he's fine.
He's a bit more handsome. I would-
From behind, Mary, you just see Vaughn kind of like look down at you. Rolls with it.
Am I missing something here?
Some things happen. Some things go wrong. Look, he's fine.
Was
Right?
he resurrected?
Goodberries. Yeah, he's burned.
Burned?
Are you going to
Did you
make
burn
fun
down
of
the
someone
tavern?
who got burned?
Where am I making fun of him?
Usually do.
Does he need some
So-
healing?
That's not the types of people we are, though. We
No.
would not make fun of you for the way that you look.
For the things you do, yes.
All right, my appetite is satiated here, but my curiosity isn't. Will you
He's
please?
fine. Do you not remember when we stormed in? No, you're the Reverend.
Shh.
Did he hit his head?
Yes.
Okay,
times.
that's making
Yes.
a little more sense then.
See, Vaughn kind of like leans over. Again, just not so many questions down here. It's hard for us to explain in the open.
Sorry, it's a lot happening at once here.
No, you're fine. Stay here.
Well, again, thank you so
I will
much
sit
for
down.
not leaving me down
Ground.
there, taking care of me.
Sit in a chair.
No, but not even a thank you from him, huh?
I'll scooch one over to the spot I'm standing.
He'll understand soon.
I mean, I'm not that surprised knowing the Reverend. Just what I know of him.
Carrie, thank you.
For
I don't have anything on this one.
saving you and getting stabbed in the back, literally for you, and almost dying.
Yes.
You know, it's more than I thought I'd get. So, you're welcome.
No.
Are you good to move and travel though? How's your back?
Very good.
It's a little sore, a little softer than usual, but I'm feeling all right. I think it's those biscuits and all those beautiful healing powers.
It's okay. We'll explain it later.
Okay. With that, would you like to go upstairs and talk about what our next course of action might be?
I think it's time, and I'd like to learn about the children and what's happening.
Yes. Very well.
Sounds great.
Well, shall we then?
Yes, let's
Go ahead.
Upstairs to the room you go?
Yeah.
All right. Close the door, locking it behind you. You have some modicum of privacy in here. Still probably want to watch your voices as far as the level goes. It's not that terribly insulated. But all right, you've got your privacy. Let's see what happens.
Vaughn kind of just comes into the room, crosses his arms, and just kind of looks over at Damon, waiting for you to say something.
I'm just sitting there. on my bed, just kind of just like, legs crossed. I'm ignoring you completely. I'm not saying anything.
So, the Reverend,
Right.
that's not necessarily the Reverend.
Did he die and you brought him back or something?
We don't think, no.
Oh.
You said the Reverend leaves sometimes and comes back from time to time.
The whole Jesus act or
we-
something?
We've picked up a new compatriot.
While this conversation is going on, I'm piling up the blankets in the little corner I've been nesting in.
He's speaking. He kind of walks around like a dog and like
Yeah.
sits back down and kind of snuggles up on the blankets.
So this is nothing to do with Goodberries.
This is Skeech.
Hi, Skeech. I'm Carrie. You can call me. Or Mary. You can call me Mary. That's my real name.
They call you names too.
That's fair. Well, nice to meet you. Where did you come from?
From the hole.
Oh, then, yes. I was in a
What hole?
There was a tavern.
Should we
Yeah.
start with what happened upstairs, and then
Yes.
we can fill in the rest?
We'll need to rework our storytelling
yeah.
sometime.
So after you collapsed,
Right.
everybody, well, before you collapsed, actually, well, we were just hanging out, having a great
I
time
kind
in
of
the
remember
tavern.
that.
Yes, with everyone else, we went into the tunnel and found a mysterious
Tunnel?
door. Yeah, underneath the tavern.
There happened to be a
Oh,
tunnel
like
in the basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And so,
I can
And
make
you
a
found a
tiny
Skeech
glass.
there?
yeah, and Skeech was down there. We were upstairs. You collapsed.
Stop
and
it,
then
stop,
they
stop,
came
stop,
back
stop.
a really long time later. So, yeah.
Is that
it
when
was
the
fine.
Reverend left?
The Reverend stayed.
Does anyone have a piece of paper before he starts engraving into the floor anymore?
Kind of like holds onto his book at his side.
I was just gonna show the tunnel.
Just one piece of paper. Just one.
Yes,
We can mend it.
here. Kind of passes the book down and over. Flip to the back if you would be so kind.
So I'm just gonna flip the book over.
No.
No.
Thank you,
Going to
Damon.
open it for him and go to the back page. You are to draw right here. Do you need a pen?
No, that's okay. And I'm gonna produce a piece of coal.
All right, that works.
There's a slight twitch in Vaughn's eye. Very good.
I'll produce another piece of coal.
Keep that for yourself.
One of the pouches. And I'll begin to do a rough sketch of the layout of the tunnel.
It's pretty ugly and very amateur looking. Looks like a bunch of exploratory tunnels, and then one of them appears to end at a very straight, flat wall.
It's kind of what my dreams felt like, so I get it. And so that's where you found him? And the children, I presume?
We found the children before, but yeah, when we found Skeech, there was this odd door, and he couldn't figure it out. That was his job, and we couldn't figure it out either. And we were meaning to go back once we got everybody together. And well, we're glad to have you back, and of course Anna helping too. But I guess we're not fully a complete team anymore. But that's fine. We can keep going.
Well, we're still a team of 6. Right?
Yeah,
You helping us?
numerically, we are.
5.5 maybe.
Don't sell yourself
We
short.
can round up.
Skeech? Well, it's very nice to meet you, Skeech. He's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's very space efficient. Yeah.
Mary,
I'll use that as a compliment
Yeah.
sometime.
does this mean anything to you? Do you recognize any of these symbols? I'm showing you a picture of the door and kind of what it looked like at the end as I like taken out a sketch of some of these things.
What are they?
You can do an arcane, you can do a history, or you can do or a religion check with any of those that you want.
I will.
History might be more to the point for your character on that.
So I have proficiency in history, but my overall intellect is a negative.
That is what it is sometimes.
Let's do it. My head's still a little
A
fuzzy.
little foggy on
Yeah.
that.
That would be a 10.
10. Those are very pretty drawings that you've got right there. But unfortunately, it doesn't, doesn't really trigger anything for you on
Sorry,
it.
I wish I had more to tell you.
It's definitely ancient Elven of some nature, like,
Okay.
and not in a modern style hand script. Like
Okay.
it is very old, the script itself. Some minor differences between what people writing ancient Elven today and what you see etched on it. That's about it as far as you're able to put together.
I think it's an older language. I'm not sure how helpful
Oh,
that is.
Wait, it's a
If
language?
it's an older language, could I just take a gander? I have
You?
just to like I dabble.
Same exact thing.
Healing
Pulls it
us.
up,
Uh-huh.
shows it to you as well.
All right, great.
Go ahead. If you're gonna do a history, go ahead.
Right, yep. And it's in ancient Elvish.
That would be ancient Elvish.
Uh-huh.
At
And
least that's what Mary thinks it is.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. And I actually can read ancient Elvish,
Ooh.
so does that give me advantage at all on my history check?
Unfortunately, I didn't do it for anybody else either. So let's go ahead and just have a straight roll. Because again,
Alright.
while you might be able to make out some of the text,
Okay.
certain intonations, things along those lines.
Mhm. Okay, great. Oh, it's gone. Oh no, nope. That's a 3 on the die, so that's a total of not great. It's a total of 7.
So when you're like, ooh, when you're thinking back, all of a sudden this memory kind of pops into your head. You're like, I remember that day in class when they were teaching that.
Yeah. Oh, what's
I was busy writing a note to my friend.
Yeah. I
Double
think
word?
yeah, maybe it was. I think it's gerunds. I don't know the ending, the end verb endings. They just get so
That's
complicated.
imperfect, I
Yeah,
think.
is it
I know.
is it
It's
the
challenging.
imperative? Like, I'm really not sure.
Telling us what to do.
You said it was ancient Elvish?
Yes.
I can take a look too if we're just passing
Oh
the
my
book around.
goodness,
at
are
this
you
point.
also an enthusiast?
I didn't even know there
Yeah.
was language there, but
Yeah.
I can read
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah, again, showing I makes a point to say similar things. I thought I'd be able to understand it myself. Also reading ancient Elvish,
This
but
is-
this makes no sense to
Crazy.
me.
Yeah,
Or wait,
I thought
I'll look
It's
at the
so
book
well
and
done.
say I don't know.
Go ahead. No.
Okay.
Roll with advantage.
I see now. I got lost here at the beginning, and then the middle part was really fuzzy, and then the end was also a little bit of a struggle. So,
18.
18.
oh shit.
All right. As Echo begins taking a look there, you're like, oh, I understand why. And you're like, did you take a look at how you did the flourish on this here? And makes a couple little questions to you. And as you go back and look at it, you're like, what was it? Oh, maybe it did go a little bit up with more of a curl.
It was very dark.
And
I'll make the
It
adjustment.
was.
no, the door itself is sealed, and it can only be opened by those of a pure blood, is what it says.
Oh. Pure blood, I assume meaning Elvish, which none of us are.
I don't have any elf blood on me, no.
That's not what I meant. So that's going to be a challenge, finding a pure-blooded elf in this day and age, but not impossible. I might know somebody, but I don't know where he is. I can't say anything else for his safety and mine. So, shall we keep going?
You understand that's a very hard thing to pivot away from.
You didn't have to drop that.
And
in
I'm
the first
doing it
place.
anyway.
Do we have to kill them?
No.
They just opened the door, right?
I don't know. I assume so.
Do me a favor and let's get a wisdom check from you, and Mary, you can do a wisdom check as well.
Oh.
Higher is definitely better.
Nat 20.
Well, I can't get higher than that.
That-
so.
That'd do
26
it.
total, but
Humble
From
brag.
your studies and such, the term that they use for pure blood is elven blood. So that's what any other race they consider impure. So that's something that you know as far as that the history would from reading different texts and things as far as insights into how as a culture they looked at the other races. So that's just a bit of insight for you on that. So when they say pure blood, it means anybody with elven blood in their system.
just elven period.
Yes. But any of the other races, they did not look at favorably on that end, which is basically why they sought to take over the known world. So,
Are
all
we
right.
going back to the store? Is that the plan?
You want to go back?
Well, that's what you said, right? You wanted to investigate?
We're curious as to why not your friends, but those that were holding you captive, were so interested in finding out what was beyond this door. It can't be coincidence that the doors to the city reopen and they find themselves digging down below this tavern. Some door locked by the blood of pure elves.
Or just elves, sounds like.
Oh.
Hmm.
And that they'd be celebrating it.
What do you mean celebrating?
That was what the party was for
Oh.
what Skeech uncovered.
Because they found the door.
Yes.
God.
I imagine the party, if they got in, would have been much grander.
Shame we missed it.
But Skeech has told us there's far worse things waiting than beyond what we encountered. And not to make light of recent events, but it could have gone better for us last time, and now it's
Sure.
just a small gathering, is my understanding.
Yes, also, I'm just wondering, do we want to open this door if there are terrible, terrible things behind it? I'm just curious about, is this above our pay grade? I mean, just Versagallis just said we needed to explore the city, right? Like,
That's exploring.
that's true.
We could find, even more.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
can't imagine these other adventurers, gesture to them in the tavern, are having that much luck just walking straight in. So
Mm.
even if we don't know what it is,
I
an uncertainty does have the possibility to be a benefit at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I
Do you know
don't
anything else about the tunnels down there?
just don't take the main path.
The main path meaning not the tunnel?
The main gate.
You mean above ground?
Yeah,
Okay.
Why?
it's not safe.
Oh,
It's
Is it goblins there or is it something else?
lots of somethings.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
It is both vague but also very disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a much different energy than the Reverend, but it's kind of refreshing in its own way. Well, my curiosity is piqued, and considering I was the one stabbed in the back, I could, probability-wise, chances of that happening again are lower, right?
Do you mean the Traveler's Bridge? The one near the Shambles, or the Queen's Bridge? Do you know?
I can't read.
Oh, yes, of course. I apologize.
Not your. Anyway, no, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Just the way into the city.
All right, okay.
The only gate that you've heard them talk about being open
Yeah.
is the one, the Trader's Gate.
Okay.
You've not
Okay.
heard that the Queen's Gate's opened.
Okay, okay.
And when you went down there and looked, you did see that the Trader's Gate was open and the
Mhm.
Queen's Gate was closed.
Okay. Never mind.
With this being said, though, when we had purchased our armor, didn't that individual say that if we returned, they would gladly get us fitted up and re-outfitted appropriately? I say we've held
That's
up our end of the
right.
bargain.
Yeah.
If we're to go back, I'd like to be, I guess, more malleable in my armor.
And I'd like to be less malleable.
And with that, that does complete the next milestone, which means you all get to step into level 3.
We said the secret phrase.
Say it again.
And so we are going to go ahead and take care of our hit points before we jump to break. So we're going to start this time with Skeech, and we're going to work our way around the table. Skeech, go ahead and roll your hit points. Let's see what happens.
Roll high. 5 is fairly high.
Can you
It's
count?
5 less squishiness. That's
I love that.
So you can count. Not
Damon, what you got for us?
9.
Wha- Impressive. Echo?
5.
5. Well, you're still, on par with Skeech there at the very least.
Okay. Come on.
What you got on it?
Big money. 5 is great. 5 is so
That
good.
seems to be the number for the evening. Are we just going to break even across the board here? Let's see what we
This
got.
level brought to you by 5.
7.
7. All right.
We need a little beef in there.
A little too much pizzazz on that one. Hold on.
Yeah.
You're excited. I like it. It's all good.
I'll be taking half.
All right.
With a 1 on the die.
1 on the die. All right. So one of the ways that we handle hit points on this is the rule of half. So whatever you're going up on a level there, you roll the die, and if it's half of whatever your maximum for that level would be. You take that. If it's above that, then you get that part. So it does make them a tad bit less squishy, but also remember the monsters get to compensate for that as well. So there's a bit of a trade here and there. And with that, we're going to jump to our first break of the evening, but then we'll be right back jumping into the adventure. So please stay tuned for that, and we'll see you here in just a few minutes. And welcome back. Thank you so very much for joining us. And we'll pick back up where we are. I believe our party was just getting ready to head out. So I will turn it back over to our gallant adventurers here and see what's next.
If we think that's a good enough stop, I mean, if they offered that to us, I think it's valid for at least to check and see how long it might take. I mean, they may have a queue, but I'm still curious to find out.
Do you have anything other than the tattered wraps I'm looking at?
Oh. I'm gonna go grab the backpack and start dragging it across the floor.
Oh, it's wet.
Massive, oversized backpack.
I know!
Oh, yay.
Is there a dead body in there? Can I be ready?
Actually, maybe don't bring out the rations.
I gave you my last one.
See how huge sigh of relief.
What rations?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
But I
likely.
have room for more bread.
That's a good idea.
So it's a bag of bread?
As Skeech opens up the flap on the backpack, you'll see it is filled with what only can be described as junk and garbage, various trash.
Not like anything rotting, but basically almost anything people have thrown away, like bottles and gears and tools, and just like basically looking like a rummage sale.
Kind of like the Reverend. It's nice.
Looking like a
See,
rummage
Skeech
sale,
gets
or
like visibly dejected.
You've got
every time
bottles
we
in
mention
there,
the
a little
word
bag of stuff. What do you do with it?
Lots of stuff, actually. I can fix things. I can break things. Lots of things in between. Sometimes I make my own things. They wouldn't let me show this before.
But then I'll reach into that bag and pull out that
Visible
that
concern.
paste.
I'm gonna put my hand on my
I
wall.
put my
Yeah.
shield out like in front of you guys.
But you guys didn't want me to show you how it worked, so
What am I looking at?
What does
it's
it
just
do?
like this black, almost powdery paste.
What do you do with that? You don't have to show, just tell.
I put it on stuff and then light it and
Kind of like what you did to that guy.
Similar, yes. Not to be done indoors. Here at the Red Valerian.
okay.
Put it back in the pouch. and put
Do
my
you
fingers
have
in it.
protection other than your destruction?
Am I allowed to?
Do we need to
You
get him
told me
something
not
too?
to.
You weren't here for this conversation.
What
They've,
am I?
they've been quite poorly treated. We believe that they were held captive, kind of leaning in. Like not like whispering, but just like enough to be over here. They treated them quite poorly.
I'm so sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. You don't deserve that.
I think we were the first people to treat them kindly.
The Reverend was specifically called him his friend. Looks like that might have been a lie.
Well,
Is
we can
this-
be your friends too.
is it this tear welling up
Oh.
in Skeech's eyes?
You can have more than one friend. I'll be your friend. If you would like that.
You don't have to decide right now.
Start putting my things back in the backpack. This is a lot for me.
That's fair. I get it.
I think the question still stands, though. If you're interested and willing, we'd be happy to see. Oh no. Did the Reverend keep the last amount of our gold?
Well, he certainly has mine, so
He doesn't have mine. Why do you think I
I
told
have.
you don't give it to him?
I thought it'd be lighter.
Look where that got you.
Definitely lighter.
Goldless.
I will reach into the
have some gold
backpack
as
and
well.
produce a small coin purse and hold it out to you.
I'm completely proficient with my own equipment, but thank you. Maybe you should use that on yourself. I don't know if you were allowed to own things like shields before or weapons, but where we're going, you might need them.
I just take what people don't.
Well, that's yours. And don't give it to the Reverend.
Why?
Because he ran off with
steal
all
it.
of our money. Or my money. And his money. Which I guess he's allowed to do.
He could have.
Well, I think with that we could go check out the armory.
Let's see if they have anything that catches your eye.
Real quick, your name is Mary?
Yeah, I was a little uncertain at first, and I'm not the greatest quick thinker, so the next best thing was changing a letter.
Not bad. Next time, though, I would just change the whole name and not just do one part of it, but...
I appreciate that. Hopefully,
do
I
you
won't have to do it again.
do you have a lot of experience?
No, why?
No, I'm just curious. Just making small talk. I just want to know. I'm just so interested. Yeah.
Just not use the name Anna, or use the name Anna,
Yeah.
considering.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you wear your daggers?
They are tucked, so, like, the jacket covers them completely. They're tucked, like, on the small of my back.
You might notice a furtive glance to where Vaughn probably has seen you put them back at this. So, shall we go?
Off of the arms and armory. All right.
Put on the back.
Out of the Red Valerian and across the cul-de-sac over to the arms and armory. Open the front door. You see the young man there. He's like, "Oh, well, welcome back to the arms and armory.
We lived.
It looks like you all
We did it.
have survived. And the armor's holding up nice, right?
Mostly. There's a hole in
Excellent.
this one, but
Did you want me to get my dad?
Yes, get your father.
Okay." So off he runs, and a few moments later, Fergus comes back in, looks at you folks. He's like, I see you're back. Are you looking for an armor refitting?
That'd be splendid if
yeah.
we can, but
I think we're gonna have to check with Tom on that. To be very honest with you, again, you know we're kind of busy.
looking for some.
I know he's gonna uphold his bargain on that, but give me just a moment. Let me go and check. And he walks out. And you can see this time where the curtains are parted out the door. He goes out the back and across over to where the blacksmith's actually hammering away. You see Tom stop, look over and talk to him. Little Tom kind of scratches his head, says something more. Fergus nods to him and comes walking back your direction. He's like, "Well, if you all want to drop the splint off today, we can definitely get that taken care of you. Probably going to be about 3 days apiece. We're going to have to take a fitting. Fitting takes about maybe 45 minutes or so for us to make sure we get the right measurements on that. But again, it takes about 3 days to get everything all squared away if you all are ready for that right now."
I don't know about for that long right now.
that's. I
Well, big thing about it probably, he can only do so much work at a time as he's doing the other items that are on the list. We're kind of making room to squeeze you in. That's why I'm saying about 3 days.
Oh, of course,
And,
of course,
I do
yeah.
apologize, but it is what it is. Like I said, it is quite a busy season right now.
Sure.
I mean, you can't rush craftsmanship, but yeah, I just think we're kind of in the middle of things. Can we really? Yeah, maybe we'll be back. We'll be back.
Well, you all come back alive, and we'll uphold the deal on that.
It's becoming a pattern.
Yes.
plan always.
Oh, yeah.
Should we pick up something for Skeech? I mean, the Reverend here.
See anything you can use?
I'm just taking in everything. Skeech has never seen any place like this before, so he's just kind of looking at all the different goblin smashing instruments hanging on the wall, imagining how it would all feel.
There is a buckler for a human that looks like it would be a small shield for him.
Something small, something light. What are you comfortable with? Have you ever used or seen any of these things before?
Are you buying a sword and a shield for your boy?
This is the Reverend,
It's
remember?
not too early. It's
Okay.
dangerous out
I've got a
Why do you keep saying
a
that?
starter
Oh,
set,
Reverend.
I guess.
Just go with it.
A little bit scuffed up, but I mean, 25 gold and
I can
it's
show him how to use
years
a
out the
shield.
door.
We can.
Yeah, well,
I'm as ready.
can we see it? Can we let
Yeah.
the boy try it out?
Absolutely. He goes into the counter and pulls out this nice mahogany case, sets it down, opens it up, and you can see there's a short sword and there's a small shield in there. And he kind of rips off this little tag that was obviously stitched on it that says for so and so. And he's like, "Yeah, well, there was a bit of something that kind of went wrong on that, but it's
Happens.
a pretty good deal. Case I even throw in the case for you too."
You like the
Oh,
case?
wow.
What?
What do you think? Would you like to pick them up?
So I'll go up and I'll grab a hold of the shield and kind of put it on and practice hiding behind it.
So his perception is a nat 20. He looks over, he's like, your boy loses. Is he all right? I mean,
Boy's been through something. It's,
I can tell
it's
he's
fine.
wrapped head to toe in those bandages. You know, I'll let you have the set for 10. If you just, because I mean, yeah, it looks like that your youngsters had some trouble there.
He's
Your
been through
kindness
a
is
lot.
noted.
Okay. And Skeech will begin to walk away with the shield.
Do you want the
D-
sword?
Does he want the thing to poke
And-
stuff
and-
with, or is he just confident just hitting stuff with the shield? I mean, if that's what he wants to do, I'm not.
Clever lad, I would
That's
say.
up to you.
Clever. That was not what I was thinking. But anyway,
He'll go up and pick up the sword and
the pointy end goes in the thing that you wanted to put it in, and not yourself. Just remember that, son.
after a few moments of waving it around, it's very clear that I'm more of a danger to everyone around me and myself.
I'm gonna
holding
go
this.
ahead and take the sword from him and put it back on the counter. No, I don't think we'll be taking that.
It kind of comes in the case. He puts it in the cases, closes it up, and slides over to Vaughn. But I would like the 10 gold up front, please.
Oh, well, boy, I believe you've been saving up for this, right? Your errands, your
Your
little coin
allowance?
purse, yeah.
Probably begging on the
bag.
corner.
From the backpack, and I'll set it up on the counter.
He opens up the purse. He's looking at you and counts out 10 gold. And
It's in various coinages.
yeah, he's like, interesting. You're
So glad
some
it's
rocks,
not.
anything shiny.
yeah, son. Thanks. And you folks have yourselves a good day. Remember, come back alive, and we'll get that armor taken care of.
That's the plan.
Hopefully,
Just make
most
sure
of
he
them.
don't stab himself with that thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Just-
we'll watch.
Or any of you. Just
Right.
it is combat ready. It's sharp.
Again, it's
Noted.
part of our plan for returning alive, yes.
Yes. Probably a solid idea. All right. Well, you folks have a good day, and come back. And hear his son like, come back to the Arms and Armor at any time for the best armor in all of Newtown. Fergus is looking back at his son like,
We can't all have perfect sons.
perfect sons. Fantastic. So out
Got
the
a
door.
dragon
Yeah.
Are you all stopping anywhere else before you're done?
Well, it's kind of a bust, but at least we got our son a lovely shield.
We understand how much time it's going to take. We can plan accordingly next time.
Yeah. I think that sounds wonderful, delightful. Yeah, I'm glad that we're gonna keep the armor for now, just for a little bit.
Any changes? Like, I mean, obviously, I know what you said that there was the caravan in town. How the people were leaving town. Do you notice any new people or other things on the horizon? Like, what's going on in town?
Go ahead and one person roll perception with advantage.
I mean, I guess I should. I would notice if things were drastically different.
Nice. Oh, and you get a roll twice.
Oh, right. And then pick one.
Pick the better of the two.
Right.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? All right. As long as you all have been in town, it's kind of hard to pick out all the details and everything, but you can tell people come, people go. You do see posters around town that a particular caravan will be opening up the next day. So, I mean, in about 24 hours, you'll have something pretty exciting. It's Gildan's Caravan of Wonder. And it says, come see the marbles, come see the excitement, purchase one-of-a-kind items, fun for the
Sounds
family.
like something you might like.
And then it has all these little pictures of food and little party type of things on there. little
Fantastic.
Some unique
interesting
food.
little items that for anybody that can't read, obviously can see and be interested in what's happening.
Seems like a nice reprieve from everything.
Assuming what you all know, that must have been that caravan just outside of Newtown's walls that was setting up. And so you all are ready to rock and roll, or are we heading anywhere else inside of town right now?
Is there anyone staring at us, specifically?
That I'm going to have you roll for.
Okay.
And since you said what you're asking right there, go ahead and roll that with advantage for me.
I'm staring.
16.
16. Looking around as you constantly kind of your vigil as you're moving about, and you do notice from the first night that you were there, that young boy, about 12, the one that Big Tom tossed out, is sitting away from where the Arms and Armor is, across the street, acting like he's doing something by one of the houses that's there. And he keeps obviously looking over your direction, and him hauling about like he's definitely not supposed to be where he is, because he's not literally on their property, but he's right at the edge of that house. Like, oh, I'm kind of tending the garden, but not really.
Okay.
And you've seen that before, that sort of activity.
I'm gonna let it go.
All right.
Oh.
And
For
what
now.
else are you doing at this point, folks?
Did you guys eat? I know I gave
Oh,
some
yeah.
biscuits, but are we?
Yeah, we're good.
I was as we're walking out of. Do you guys want to check out the caravan? That does sound pretty exciting.
Tomorrow, I
Mhm.
believe.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oh, never.
Oh.
Yeah.
Think we
Assuming
So-
we live another day, I would love
Fingers
to.
crossed.
Did it on our way back.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice little treat.
As you all are coming out the front gate, you can, again, just as you come out the gate, there's that gap between the wall and the first house, and you can see out across the way to where the caravan is. It is much more set up than it was before, much more elaborate. You can look at each of the actual caravan wagons themselves have opened up almost like a jewelry box, and these big tents are being set up at this point. A bunch of streamers are being set up between each of the tents to create a neat entryway, and surprisingly enough, they've actually rolled carpet out in front of where that entryway would be.
Fancy.
So considering all the muck and the mud, you're like, that's probably not going to last that pretty for long. But it's still there. And unsurprisingly, the skies are a thick gray with billowy clouds pressing down with a threat of rain. Wind blows in from the Bay of Frozen Hope. It brings with it a really icy kind of touch to the afternoon there. And it begins like just kind of seeping into you now that you're outside of the wall of the city that was blocking the breeze, but now it actually is hitting you at this point. It kind of pull your cloaks a little bit tighter to you there. You're still yourself knowing that it's only going to grow much colder as you draw towards the city and the valley below. And again, you've left the city, you've left Newtown, the safety of Newtown behind you. Begin proceeding down the Traders Road up to where that junction is to make that turn out from there. And at this point, both Vaughn and Echo freeze, and you look up into the distance, and down the Traders Road, you can see where the road itself disappears into the forest. It is a bunch of dense pine, maybe about 1.5 miles from where you are, where this turnoff is. And from there, you can see smoke rising up out of the woods there, which, from what you remember when you walked back, because that's the direction that you would have come down, there was nothing, no housing, nothing along those lines there. That is a bit of a large fire going on right now to be in the woods there, something almost to kind of be concerned of. And that's what you see up the distance from where you are.
You catch that as well.
Yeah, that's unusual.
There's no other civilization. I didn't see any camps on my way into town. It's curious. Could be a forest fire. That's alarming. Do you all see this as well? Kind of points off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, that was clouds. What do you think it is?
I mean, that can't just be a couple of adventures. It's far too large.
No, it'd be terrible setting up camp if they had made something that large.
Yeah, they practically drawing every single person or bandit to them with that.
Just like us. Do you see the cogs turning? Do you think it is a call for help?
Only one way to
Oh.
find out.
Like
Yeah.
accidental fire?
A signal fire.
If it is an accidental fire, then the least we could do is attempt to
Right.
prevent this or stop this. But if it's someone in need of assistance, I'd like to go and offer aid.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. If it's someone, yes. If
You
it's
can
someone.
scope out the situation before we
Yeah, of course.
enter it, right?
Of course, yeah.
Mhm.
How far off does it appear to be?
Again, it's about a 1/2 mile from where you are to the edge of the wood,
Okay.
and maybe a 1/4 mile past that. It's hard to tell exactly. Once the wood, once you see the tree line, distance becomes a little bit obscured because where exactly it is that smoke's coming up, but not too far. Maybe, definitely under a mile, a mile at the most at this point. So relatively short hop and haul for you all on that.
Amazing.
So off you go.
Mhm.
I'd like to.
As you all are drawing closer, I want a group perception. One person roll, give me advantage, because again, everybody I'm sure has their hackles up at this point.
I got this one. Using my nose. That is an 18.
18. All right, using your nose. And to be honest with you, the first individual in the group that really picks up on it is Skeech. You're like, you've smelled that recipe before. That is making you salivate right now. The rest of you kind of smell like a pig roast kind of smell in the air.
Oh.
And then in the distance, you'll almost hear this like this bang or like howling of like large dogs, something like that. It sounds like you're like What is that sound? I will let one of you, either Echo or Vaughn would have skill in this, usually nature check, to try to see if you can identify that particular bang that you're hearing.
Natural 20.
Wow. Without a second's hesitation, he stops, and you can see Echo. Again, you're like, that's not bang. That's more like a cackle. Again, you're listening. And you can see Echo's entire posture change. His hand reaches down to his blade. You can see him just tighten up a bit. You know that's a sound of gnolls. And more than likely, if that's that type of fire, they're roasting some human or something else, because they love to eat human flesh. You cannot mistake the particular cackle and laugh that they do. It's like almost like a dog yipping.
Do you recognize that?
Have you ever encountered gnolls before?
Skeech is finding the nearest bush to crawl in.
Skeech has the right idea. If we thought drunk goblins were going to be a problem and they almost took out Mary, this is much worse.
Wait,
Did you hear that?
it's the wind or is someone calling on for aid?
Well, the Reverend's not here, so it's not the wind. So let's go. And just
Takes off with you.
Again.
Off you all go?
I'm staying
Okay.
under this bush unless anybody grabs me.
I'll grab you.
Yeah. Come on. You got a shield.
I try to resist.
Got a shield.
It's like,
Get the shield.
and as we're running, I'm
yeah.
like giving Vaughn instructions on what I've learned about combating them. I'm like, try and keep them isolated. If they group up, it's the worst. They're like a feeding frenzy. It's horrible.
Pack tactics.
Uh-huh.
Understood.
No.
Skeech
Banging
is,
on Anna's back.
Skeech is trucking up behind you as fast as his little legs can go, and then you can see just his eyes under those goggles are even larger than the goggles at this particular point in time. He's got some sweat kind of rolling down him. Trader's Road again disappears in a dense bit of forest as you all move in off the main road. Heading down, you can look over and see some flicks of light in the distance. That's off the main road. And as you move a little bit further up, you look and you can see that on where the road was, there is a bunch of the road that is torn up. And you can see there is actually a wagon wheel sitting kind of just off to the edge of the road. And it looks like a bunch of wagons have been drawn off the roadway itself and into the woods.
Is it our old caravan?
I don't know. It's hard to tell from just a wagon wheel. It's not
What
like
is the
somebody
make
dropped a
and model?
personalized license plate out there.
It's a Chevy
Wheels
wagon
are a
wheel.
large part of my backstory.
Did you sign the wheels just in case?
Yeah. Like I said, it's not like there's a personalized license plate,
Yeah.
like,
It's a
Driscoll's or
vanity
something
plate.
like that.
check the VIN. Yeah.
Just advertisement.
Little air freshener hanging.
Not my dice.
Yeah. So, yes, again, the yips and the barks are much louder here, and you can hear some moans. And the smell is definitely like a big old pig roast going on right now.
Sickening. You said that they feed like they're in a frenzy.
Mhm.
Is it likely that we could take them unawares then?
Sneak up on them?
To the best of our ability?
I guess so. If we spread out, we can do what we did before, but without the doors. The more quiet of us attack first, and then you two rush in.
Okay.
Don't kill him.
I don't.
Eat the horses if you all want, and take the goods, but just don't hurt our people. We don't give you any hassle.
Or we could just.
And Echo and Damon both recognize the voice. It is Driscoll's voice.
Or we can make
Oh,
a distraction while you sneak in and free Driscoll. I mean, he was good to us. We should try and save his life. And I think you're the only one who disappears frequently enough to do it. But we gotta act fast.
Yeah.
All right. Can we make a distraction? Draw them away?
I think so. If we can get their attention, I think we can do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I very much miss the Reverend right now.
It'd be really good.
Okay. We should all spread out so that they have to chase us in multiple directions.
Understood.
Okay.
All right.
Before we do that, I come up and just kind of give you guys all a touch. Like, we made it through the first one. You guys know these gnolls. We can do it again. All right.
Yeah.
And with that, I give you some kind of guidance. Oh my God, and faith. That's you, and Damon.
And that is a D4.
Yes.
Thank you, the one god. Very cool.
All right, as she touches you, you feel inspired, but not like, like an inspiration. It is this presence, this well-being that kind of fills you. And again, it's from the point that she touched you, it radiates out. It just, every bit of you, every little muscle feels like, yes, I got this, I'm good.
Something watched me before. It's watching us all.
We'll do a better job of watching you this time.
I appreciate that.
But I will kind of dash over to one side quietly and then try and stay in eye contact with everyone. And I'm going to raise my sword to my shield and just start banging on it.
Okay. As you come up, what you see is this grisly scene before you. There's a pack of gnolls. At this point, where they're all moving around, it's kind of hard to tell how many. It's about 5 or so. And bunch of goblins as well, maybe about a dozen or so, and they have definitely waylaid the trade caravan, and you can see what's left. They have basically just destroyed the wagons, but 2 of the wagons remain intact, and they have piled up apparently whatever they want to take. On one wagon, you can see barrels, the kegs of alcohol, things like that, silverware, all kinds of goodies, that sort of thing. And on the other one, you can see people have been tied up like cordwood and stacked on there. They're kind of squirming a bit, and they're still alive. The horses have been taken off of the wagons, and they're kind of grouped up, those that are still alive. They've got several up and they're butchering, and there's a large bonfire. Again, there are several horses that are strung up, but you can also see several bodies of humans over that bonfire as well. So they're looking like they're having a pretty good sized roast. But hooked up to each of the wagons are these massive wolves. Immediately, you recognize them as young dire wolves. And it is quite common for goblins and those with dark speak to utilize dire wolves as means of transportation. They use them as beasts of burden, that sort of thing, especially the older they get, the more powerful they are. At this particular point, as you come out and you begin banging on your shield right there, they all turn around and look at you with this big surprise in their face. And one of them, you're assuming that it is the leader. He has this big shield and a sword, because they're making this sound, and all the rest of the gnolls freak out at this point and begin running towards the wagons, and so do the goblins, and they begin piling up on the wagons and take off.
That ain't good.
And race down through the woods and making this turn back out towards the main road, it looks like.
I will take my take a bit of plant matter from my bag and just shove it in my mouth and start chewing really fast and cast Adrenaline Rush, and I'm dashing after them.
Dashing after them?
Am I within 90 feet of the leader?
No, you're not.
Am I within 90 feet of any of them?
No, you're not. At this point, you guys are all back. What are here are 4 horses that are untethered, just kind of sitting there munching on some grass right now. And the wagons are taking off. And at this point, we enter the chase.
All right.
This will be conducted in phases, and this is all done through skill checks at this point.
Great.
And we begin right now with phase 1, and the chase is started. They are taking off and going. What are you all doing? We're going to start with Vaughn and then work our way around the room. You are right now beating feet and running after the wagons as fast as you possibly can, but they are slowly outdistancing you.
Okay.
Easy. First things first, if I can make my way over to, you said how many horses?
There are 4 horses.
I'm going to go up to the horses. I'd like to use animal handling to hopefully keep them calm, get them prepared for everyone else to make it easy.
Animal handling roll, please. Mary, what are you doing?
Looking over at
17.
Skeech, seeing
17.
that there are just 4 horses.
Am I still being carried?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Fair
I
enough.
could
gonna
put
say-
you down when we were planning. Yeah, I'll put you down while we were planning.
Do you want to
yeah.
join me on the horse?
No.
Well, you're not going to stay here, are you?
Skeech just looking for any way out, away from whatever's happening.
Just put him on the horse. Just put him on there.
You can't.
All right, give me a skill check. What are you going to use to grab and stick Skeech on the horse?
What am I going to use?
Yes, skill check.
Oh, boy.
Vaughn's got the horses calmed down at this
persuasion.
moment. Persuasion.
Oh. 4.
4. Skeech smacks your hands away. He does not want to get on the horse.
Yeah,
Anna.
Save you.
I'd like to use I'd like to help Mary and help Skeech onto a horse.
You gonna
and just,
athletics check him up there?
Yep, just athletics check him right
All
onto
right,
that
athletics.
horse.
Not in the bag.
Give him an athletics check.
Okay, yeah, that's a 21.
21.
In the
Okay,
bag.
as Skeech is distracted with Mary trying to get him up there,
Yeah.
Anna runs up behind, grabs him, and just slams him up on the back of the horse.
Anna, you always got my back.
And I think you're getting yourself up there at the same time as you're doing that.
Yeah.
And up on the horse, Anna and Skeech are our first ones up. Echo,
Is there an open
You-
horse still?
you are running down after
Past
the
them?
wagons right now.
Okay.
And you can see where they are. They're now getting out onto the road, which is
Uh-huh.
going to definitely allow them to be faster at this point too.
Okay.
But you are able to keep visual when none of these guys currently have visual.
I will use perception to find a knoll, and I'm going to mark him so that I have advantage when I'm tracking them. So
And your little mark is going to strike and go ahead and give me the perception.
20,
Perfect mark.
24.
That is well enough to definitely get that mark up on there. You're feeling very confident that you can track these things at this point. Damon, what are you doing, sir?
I would like to use acrobatics to jump on a horse and take off running.
Excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead.
17.
17. You hop up on that horse, just vault yourself right up on there. Boom. Grab the reins on it. Yep. No saddle, but you know what? It's not the first time you've ridden them this way. And off you go. So Anna and you and Skeech are now mobile. The two of you are here. Mary.
No, I have Skeech.
No,
Oh.
Anna has Skeech.
I jumped up at the same time.
Oh,
as
you
did.
took
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah,
Fighting
sorry.
over you,
So-
Skeech.
And we move back around to the next set. Vaughn, what are you doing at this point?
Horses are calmed down. Time to get on one of them. I'd like to use acrobatics to hop up on there and take off.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me a roll.
Ooh, that's going to be that's going to be 27.
Fantastic. Like a bolt of lightning, you are up on this horse and off to the races you're going. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you come out and you're passing right by Echo at this point. Echo, what are you going to do?
I'm going to try and, dive for his hand and maneuver myself on
Go
the
ahead
back of
and
the
make a
horse.
roll. He's sticking out a hand. He just showed me that, so do it with advantage.
Sweet.
What is the skill you're using, though?
Oh, acrobatics.
Acrobatics, all right. 'cause you haven't used
That
yet.
is fantastic. 25.
25, and up on the back of the horse you go. So you were riding with Vaughn. Mary, what are you doing?
Shake off the rejection from Skeech. Watch how Vaughn handled the horses. And I'm going to use my animal handling to get atop the last.
Let's go, go, go.
And that is a 13.
13, not quite as graceful, but seeing as how the horse
Never
isn't
is.
resisting, you're up there like, bump.
It's a broken
Get
heart.
up, get up, get up. And you got that kind of horse from like the Headless Horseman, the one with the kind of slump back, and you're kind of riding along with like, come on, Buttercup, let's go. And we move around to Anna. Anna, you and Skeech are chucking along.
All right. I'm going to turn to Skeech and be like, remember that powder or that sludge that you're not supposed to use in the inn? This might be an excellent time to make use of it. And I want to try and persuade you to get it out.
Okay.
Slaps it on the horse.
Just wait.
What have I done?
Well, there are very few situations in life that can't be solved with the proper application of high explosives. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
We'll get around to that. So Anna, you persuaded him to pull that out. We'll get over to him in a second.
I see how it
Echo, you are up on the back of Vaughn's horse at this particular point in time. Is there anything in particular that you're doing? You've got it marked. You are now
Yes.
gaining ground at this point.
I'm just going to continue to use survival and just track where they're going. And if I can anticipate, perhaps based on the natural environment around me, if there's anywhere where they would slow down, perhaps a bridge or a
Ooh.
stream or something like that.
Excellent. Go
and try
ahead
and cut them off.
and what skill are you using for that? again?
Survival.
Survival. Let's go ahead and hit it.
That would be an 18.
Very nice. All right, at this point in time, you don't see anything. Looks like the density of the trees is such that it's going to keep them on this road for a bit. So should something pop up in the next round or two, I will let you know. But right now, that's what you're keeping an eye out for. And I'm sure you're kind of letting
Yeah,
Vaughn
I'm
know what you're
guiding-
looking at. All right,
guiding Vaughn.
Damon, you are hauling a horse that direction. What are you doing at this point?
How close am I to Vaughn and Echo? Am I ahead of them? Am I behind them?
At this point in time, you and Echo and Vaughn are the lead horses. Behind you is Anna and Skeech, and bringing up the back on Buttercup is Mary at this point.
I use animal handling to see if the horse can go a bit faster.
Did you use handling before?
No,
No,
I used acrobatics.
All right. So you're going to try to kick in the turbos. Go ahead.
And you have advantage.
15.
15. She has advantage?
Would-
He has
Use
advantage?
the blessing.
Cause she,
Guidance.
Because she gave him...
Yeah, did you use guidance yet?
No.
Because you can have that.
Okay.
17.
17. All right. And, wow. Okay. Motivation. As Damon kicks the horse, his horse just like rears up a bit and begins these really heavy gallops. And Damon, you're like, whoa! And you begin to now outpace Vaughn and Echo there. And you are gaining some ground. From where you are, you can see the goblins are like turning around. They look at you. They're like, "Oh no!" And one of the goblins takes a bow and he's going to fire at you. And not a problem. It goes whizzing right past you there. As he kind of fired, the wagon hit a bump and it just and the goblins are like and screeching at each other. It looks like a lot of panic at that back wagon. And looking at the wagons and the way they're set up, the front wagon apparently has the tied up humans. The back wagon where you are, which is moving a little bit slower, has all the material goods that they look like they were trying to steal and get away with.
Okay.
Moving back around at this point in time, we Skeech. Okay, yes, that's right. You were pulling out your explosives.
So I'm going to reach into my pouch and grab a little bit of cloth and a little bit of that sludge, and I'm going to smack it on the inside and kind of fold it up. And I'll say, okay.
Great. Now hold on to that until I say go.
Okay.
Right.
That doesn't require a roll. At this point, now, should you decide to do some maneuvers, it may require a roll here in a few moments. We're going to move back around to Vaughn. Vaughn, you can see that they are trying to kick the wagons into gear. The front wagon is definitely, now the wolves are pulling further and heavier. And the second wagon is doing its best to try to keep up.
Amazing. Seeing that a shot has just come through, I'd like to possibly use investigation to focus in on who is possibly doing the firing to prepare like a parry, essentially, so we don't take damage as we're attempting to gain on them.
What skill are you using?
Investigation. If you
Investigation?
allow
That will definitely allow that.
it. 18.
18. You actually picked out the goblin. He's got a little short bow. And you can see that he is actually prepping two goblins next to him that seem to be getting their bows off and getting ready to do something this particular round. So you actually are marking visually where you see that happening. Moving around to Mary and Buttercup.
Using my skill of medicine and my own empathy and knowledge of what it's like to have a painful back, I'm going to position myself on the horse in a way that is more comfortable and will help counter the scoliosis that we have going on, thus enabling the horse to go a little faster.
All right.
That is a 15.
15. Well, your horse reacted incredibly well to that. So Buttercup now goes from a little trot to now, you're not quite as fast as everybody else's, but you're like, hey, this is we're moving now. You're kind of feeling bad watching everybody pulling away from you there. Now you're starting to get a little bit of speed going on. All right, moving over to Anna.
Okay, I'd like to pick out a path to get up and try and gear towards being in front of the back wagon. And I'd like to use my insight to try and find the most efficient path to weave through.
Oh, nice. Well done. What skill are you using?
Insight.
Insight. Let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay, that's 12.
12 total?
Total.
All right. The wagons keep juking left and right and left and right, so it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on as you kind of begin to pull up this way. The wagon's moving that way. As you begin to come around, it's jerking over that way. So you're not sure if it is the drivers or just being incompetent or whether they're just that skilled. But either way, the goblins that were hanging on trying to shoot are like, ah, ah. So we move around to Echo, and you're on the back of Vaughn's. You got him tracked. You can see that the one goblin was talking to his friends. They were going to try to shoot. Right now, they're kind of hanging on a bit to the wagon as it's sliding back and forth, kind of doing a little bit of drifting as it's moving along.
So seeing how effective Damon and Mary were at speeding up their horses, I'm going to kind of slide off the side of the horse and just kind of maneuver my way over to the neck of the horse, and I'm just hanging on to it. I'm going to pull myself up to its ear and just go, hey, you got this, buddy. You can do better. I know what you can do.
You're going to try to inspire the horse?
I'm trying to inspire the horse.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I'm just hanging off his neck, just
What are we doing? Persuasion?
Animal handling.
Animal handling.
That's a new one.
That will be another 18.
Nice.
All right. You
So
whisper to the
whispering in
horses
the ear.
here, and the horse is trying to move its head down a little bit, trying to figure out what that is. And they're like, you got this, buddy. and you can kind of see the ears from where they were flattened out perk up like,
Dramatic music.
I've got this. And the horse begins
Anime protagonist.
moving much faster. It's going to require a good skill check next time to keep you hanging on to the horse at this point. Damon, what are you doing, sir?
I would like to use perception to see if any of the barrels are flammable.
Ooh, okay. Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
No, that's a that's a 4.
4. It's really hard from your position to figure out. You're pretty sure that they have alcohol of some nature, but you're like, one of the guys, he was a wine and beer vendor, so I don't know. And judging by the size, you're not quite sure. You don't think they were transporting them in casks that large, as far as like flammable whiskey goes.
Okay.
There's a good probability there is some flammable whiskey somewhere on the wagon itself, but just from those barrels, no, not at that point. Skeech.
Now that I know that there's danger in immediate range, I'm going to try to turn around on the horse, holding up the shield and like backing into Anna's back, pretending I'm not here with a stealth roll. Like she's wearing a shield on her back, must be.
Given your size and the fact that you are trying to tuck in behind her, I will let you roll whatever skill, your stealth roll, with advantage on that.
Okay. So that is actually going to be an 18.
An 18 to not be where you are and still be there. You're not quite sure if the goblins can see you any further.
Goblins, and I understand.
You are
myself.
convinced that the goblins
Exactly.
cannot see you. All right. The goblins are going to take their turn, and they're going to fire off at you, Vaughn, for the first volley, and that is a 19. The second goblin is going to fire at Echo with a 9, and at Damon with an 8. So 2 arrows come flying at you. One, I know connects, I believe, yes, it does connect with you.
Is my previous attempt at getting ahead and focusing in and allow me to take a dodge.
I'm going to, what was your skill roll on that?
That was the one, that one got, I think it went 18.
It was an 18?
Yeah.
The 19 is going to beat that,
Okay, that
unfortunately.
makes sense.
So you would take damage on that, and you're going to take 3 points of arrow damage.
Awesome.
And let me go ahead and track that myself. So, all right, you got a 3. And the other 2, Echo, as you're hanging onto the horse, the arrow passes right by you. You're like, whoa, 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 at this point in time. And over to Anna, another arrow comes flying over the top of you and misses you. Doesn't go anywhere near you. You got a nice meat shield in front of you right there. Like, oh,
Full
it's
cover.
all right. So moving back around, Vaughn, you got the arrow. When it struck, most of the impact was absorbed by your armor. What you got is a little bit of the tip that keeps wiggling itself on you at this, like, oh.
Full arrow still poking out.
Oh yeah, the whole shaft is still sticking out. Again, it's just the tip that feels like it has penetrated your armor.
Okay, beautiful. That's super annoying. I'm going to essentially, if I can, I still got one hand on the reins. I just want to grab the tip and just break off the end of it, so it's not a full arrow there. I want there to be a couple of inches out, but I'm not going to pull it out.
Again, the full arrowhead has not penetrated. If you do leave that, it'll still leave the tip poking into you, but the little points at the end that are designed to keep it in your flesh are still out.
Oh.
So I mean, you could literally
I'd
whip
like
the
to
arrow
get
right
there,
out.
yes.
Then. Sorry, I didn't describe that well enough. I want to make sure that you were understanding.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead. You're going to do what, medicine for that, or what are you using?
I'm doing carefully, sleight of hand.
Okay, go do a sleight of hand. That'll work. I'll take that skill.
12.
11 was the number to beat on that. Well done. And boop, yank out the arrow.
Get up here! Can't do it, but I'm calling for you back up.
And moving around to Mary.
All right, I'm gonna use my perception to kind of watch whatever the heck Echo was doing to the horse as he crawls around and hangs on the neck, and I see him kind of come up to the ear, and I'm like, he's really intimate with that horse, but it did something right. So I'm gonna guess that he said some words of encouragement, and so I lean in and I tell him, like, come on, I believe in you. You got this. Like, just because your back's messed up doesn't mean you're not useful. Trust me, we can do this. I give it a nice little chant. And roll a 9.
9.
For having a bad day.
All right, not bad, not bad. I rolled for what the skill check would be on that, and you beat it. So you whisper to the horse. Now, you got to remember, it's a bit of a broken back horse, so it's giving you what it's got. So you get a little bit of more oomph out of the horse, but it's like you're like, oh, come on, Buttercup. But
I'm not
you're-
getting an arrow shot at me, so.
yep, you definitely don't have any arrows coming at you at the moment. And we're going to go over to Anna at this point.
Great. Having seen that they said things to their horse, but not really understanding the nature of what they said, I'm gonna be like, "Come on, are you gonna let these other horses show you up? Like, are you really? Is this all that you have?" And I would like to intimidate the horse into going faster.
All right, so let's go ahead and give it an intimidation check for the poor.
Mean
Oh,
girl
wow.
the horse into going. Okay. Yeah, that's a 23.
Oh, you got a nasty
23.
side.
So,
Yeah.
I look back like,
because this is more of a family-friendly show, we're going to ixnay what she actually whispers into the horse's ears. But if you could see the front of the horse, the eyes get quite large, and these thoughts of like a glue factory kind of pop around inside of his head, and the horse begins to just
Yeah.
gallop, boom, and you
Start
are
going
now
outward.
closing that gap real tight. The goblins are like, Echo.
All right, so seeing Vaughn trying to pull me back up, I'm going to go, one moment. And I am going to let go of the neck, and using my legs, I'm going to go, it's a bit of a leap of faith, and I'm going to like use my legs to like cross over the neck and lean upside down and try and lob an arrow with my bow. And I'm using religion because I'm praying to the one God out there that I don't die. So I'm taking
Now,
a leap
you've
of
not
faith.
used your.
Oh yeah.
You've not used your bless, right?
For
From me.
From her.
oh yeah, I'm using it now.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and do it.
D40.
And whoa.
That's good. All right, religion. 15 plus 4, 19.
19. I rolled for you praying and to see what the response of that would be, especially since you've got a little bit of a bless action going on there. I rolled my first nat 20 for the evening. So there's this little beam of light as a cloud kind of parts above you all that kind of shines down the front of the horse. It echoes like, phew! And one of the goblins is lining up to take a shot. It's like, and you can see the arrow skip off the barrel and toop, right between the eyes. The goblin kind of gets this really confused look and falls back into the wagon.
So yeah, I'm upside down right now, so I'm watching this.
All right,
Inverted.
Damon.
How far away is the back wagon from the front wagon?
They are about 3 wagon lengths different at this point, as far as the front wagon to the back wagon.
Okay.
And right now the lineup is Chelsea, Damon, and then Vaughn and Echo, with Mary at the back. Hey, you can still see what's going on there.
I want to use, I guess, insight to see if there's a different path I can diverge from to get to that front wagon faster.
All right, let's go ahead and get an insight check there. Number to beat is going to be an 11. What'd you drop?
How many times do I get to use blessed? Was it once?
I believe it's just once on that.
It's a duration.
Yeah.
Its duration?
It's a minute.
Oh, okay, am I still able? Has it been 1 minute? Am I still able to use it?
It has been less than a minute at this point.
Yeah, that's a 10.
Okay, all right.
So close.
Unfortunately, again, with the way that back wagon keeps sliding, it makes it very, very difficult. However, again, you didn't lose any ground. You were relatively close to that back wagon there. And at this particular point in time, the wagons themselves, you can see that the goblins are reacting to the fact that you're closing in, and they begin messing around with something in the back of the wagon. And Skeech, what are you doing?
Hearing the threats that are happening just over Skeech's shoulder, he's going to take this opportunity to take his little bag, and I'm going to try to tie it to the head of the mall on Anna's back with a sleight of hand. None of that anger gets directed back towards me.
All right, go ahead. Give me a sleight of hand on that.
Oh no.
That's going to be a natural 20 for a 25.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Skeech begins doing something to your hammer. You can kind of feel him messing around back there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that kind of feels good too, because he's accidentally scratching your back a little bit as you're moving along, which is good because the plate makes it hard to reach. The splint makes it hard to reach there. And when you get done, you look at that, you're like, that's a masterful job. And at this point, you see the goblins that are in there begin cackling, and there's this twink, and the giant kegs begin to roll off into the road towards you all. With a nat 20.
Oh no.
Second one for the evening there.
Bless up Buttercup.
So it is going to take a maneuver, and a maneuver. So let's go ahead and see what you guys got.
Cool.
The nat 20 was for them for their success, and they basically emptied the back of the wagon into the roadway there. The skill check number for you all to beat on that is going to be a 17. What skill are you using to maneuver your horse to endure this or get out of the way? Or what?
I think
jump.
It's been time enough. I'm going to try to use acrobatics essentially
There you
to
go.
dexterously help get this horse out of the way. Mindfully, I also wanted to be noted that I'm wrapping my legs firmly around your legs that are now up towards me as you are upside down on this horse to keep you sturdy on there.
You feel like a high five with my foot.
Our toes connect. Hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Yes, sir.
No.
I'm choosing a different franchise every week.
All right, let's go ahead and see what happens here.
21.
All right, so you leap over the just massive mess of stuff that's coming down and Volt. And Echo, as he's going through the air,
I squeeze tighter.
you can look, you get this beautiful straight shot
Go, Jack.
towards the goblins if you want to take an action here.
I
We'll jump
absolutely
over
do.
and move our way around to finish things through.
I will knock a few arrows and just try and shoot 3. So
Trick shot.
That's difficult. So I'll call that athletics to even have the strength to do that. I'm not good at that. So that's a natural 1. So,
Okay, so
So for a negative,
we are
for a
going
0.
to utilize the die. So it's a 6-sided die that has one red dot on it.
Oh,
if he
no.
rolls that red dot, something interesting is going to happen.
Did I
I'm not
mention
in
I'm
a-
squeezing very tight?
I'm not in a
Your
perilous
toes are
position
interlocked.
at all. No, it did not get the red dot.
All right. So as you go to fire the notch, and just as that's happening, the horse kind of hits something, stumbles a little bit, and the arrows fly wide and kind of stick into the ground, and you almost lose your grip at this point. Hang on to your bow, and if it wasn't for the fact that his legs were wrapped around yours, it could have been a lot more exciting for you.
Fun never skips leg day.
Thank goodness for that. We are going to finish up the round here, and then we're going to take a break, folks, so hold on here. And we're going to jump over to our next writer, so go ahead.
Okay.
And we're still trying to beat that 17 at this point. All the stuff is according to
Could I make an
speech.
argument that those back scratches are almost helpful to keep
Became
relaxed?
relaxed.
Therapeutics.
Yeah.
You can make an argument, but that's not
I'm
going to help.
trying.
I give you the credit for trying this, sir, but
Let's see. I'm going to. I'm gonna try and use animal handling to just steer the horse, who's now, so afraid of me.
let's beat a 17.
Yeah. Okay, great. Here
So
we
afraid.
go. So. Yeah, no, that's an 8.
An 8. All right.
8, yeah.
I tried.
As the horse tries to maneuver away from all the kegs and bottles, everything that's just pouring out of the back of this wagon, it hits the one of the things, and you can see the horse starting to roll at this point. Skeech, I'm going to have you make a
Panic.
give me a check at this point. Some skill.
Sure.
You're about to be catapulted. Figure out what you're going to do real quick. I need a skill. 5, 4.
So I will attempt acrobatics to try to soak on my brand new shield most of the impact on the
All right.
ground.
Go ahead.
Amazing.
Oh, can I have that little dice?
Oh no.
Okay.
Anna, I'm going to have you make a.
Okay. No, it's not the little red. Not the little red.
All right, good. Anna, you're also going down with the horse too. Go ahead and give me a skill check real quick.
Great. I'm gonna try and grab Skeech and jump use my legs to spring out of the stirrups and jump off to the side.
I'm not.
With-
Interesting.
Yeah, with Okay, great. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and use athletics to do that. Okay. That's a 19.
19, fantastic. My third nat 20 of the evening. All right.
Loaded dice.
So as
All mine are.
Anna grabs Skeech,
Yeah.
Skeech is in full panic mode at this particular
yep,
point in
yep,
time.
My natural.
And as the horse goes twisting and falling down, I was rolling for the horse, its butt catapults the two of you forward, and you slam onto the back of the wagon into the pack of very surprised goblins.
Tight.
Damon,
A dagger.
as the stuff is raining
Think I-
forward,
Improvise.
behind you can hear this neigh sound, and it just sounds terrible. And all of a sudden you see Anna and Skeech as they go flying by in slow motion, and Skeech's eyes are huge. He's like, as Anna is just kind of tucking in with him. You can see her pulling him in nice and tight to protect him so she can take the landing. And you're like, what? And they land into the wagon in front of you, but you still need to deal with the oncoming 17.
Would that give me, inspiration at all watching them make this amazing landing?
No, but you are impressed. Let's see what you got. Don't
gonna-
roll a 1, and it's a lot of 1s and 20s for this round. I mean,
Don't jinx
All
me.
or nothing.
I'm gonna try to use acrobatics to make the horse
Let's do it.
jump.
but you're still under the
Yeah,
Power of
that's
the
a
one
13.
13. All right. So
Don't
for
say
your
it's
horse,
fancy.
wow. Okay. So for your horse, it hits the debris that's going, and it does recover. Unfortunately, when it does it, it jerks, and now you are basically hanging with your feet dragging on the ground. You've got one arm reached over the horse itself, hanging onto the bridle on it. Remember, you don't have a seat, and that's the only thing keeping you from hitting the roadway. Is the horse is now panic galloping straight towards the wagons. And Mary, you're our last one for the round here.
I'm all the way in the back, and at this point, I am going to just be praying for all of my friends. I'm like, oh God, I hope they're okay. Like, please keep them protected, all of them under your blessing and protection. And I will also be using my animal handling to praise my horse for all the effort it's been putting forth to just keep me going forward, and to tell it to take care of itself as we get closer and hopefully don't
All
hit a
right.
snag. And that is 19 plus 6 is 25 plus
Fantastic.
27.
All right. Out of nowhere, your nag leaps over the debris, and it just looks like something out of the equestrian
Cemetery
shows
out
here.
here. Yeah.
And it doesn't. Also, you kind of hear this snap in its back, and it hits the ground, and it starts really kicking at the pace at that point.
Cracks the back.
And it is break time, so you have to pick up with the rest of the chase here when we return. And here we go. Let's pick back up with our chase, and roll it back around to Vaughn.
Seeing the tomfoolery that is happening down below, wrapping down below this horse, I want to calm and still myself, and I want to use history to channel one of the lessons my Uncle Lucian gave me on horseback riding to essentially get us up there and end this quickly.
All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot.
That'll be 18.
18. All right. Horse begins to catch up moving forward at this point. And Echo is still hanging on with just his legs, so we'll get back around to that to a moment. Buttercup and Mary.
So where am I at this point?
At this point, you are still in last place, but seeing as how there's only 2 horses, well, somebody's going to be the winner, somebody's going to be the loser. But you are catching up at this particular point to maybe 3 or 4 horse lengths behind Vaughn and Echo. Looking up ahead of you, maybe about 4 or 5 horse lengths. Actually, no, we still have 3 horses in the chase. I forgot, it's right. Damon's up there maneuvering around. So Damon's in first place. We've got Vaughn and Echo in second. You're catching up there in third. And you've got a very confused Anna and Skeech that are currently sitting inside the wagon with the goblins, who also look equally confused. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to use my insight based on my knowledge of my father's horse, who also taught me a little bit of something, to check in on my horse to make sure it's doing okay. I am a little tentative of it here, knowing its pain and everything, and I just want to keep it going, focus on the endurance, and in the case that I might have to pick up someone else, make sure Buttercup's, holding it in there.
All right.
That's another 27.
Wow. Okay. Buttercup was starting to flag off
We're
a little
learning
bit
each
there,
other.
but as you begin to figure out how to maneuver Buttercup, you give her just a nice little bit of a kick to the ribs there, and Buttercup begins trot a little bit faster, like, oh, okay, well, whoever's on my back is quite serious about that, and you begin gaining some ground. As a matter of fact, you're catching right up with Vaughn and Echo at this point in time, which moves us around to Echo.
Our friendship.
Anna. You are right now kind of got Skeech tucked up into you, Maul sitting on your back, and as you're looking about, there are all these little hairy green legs around you, and there's a bunch of just screeching going on.
I think deception would be a hard lift. I'd like to I'd like to switch Skeech so to see if he can hang onto my back while I pull off my maul.
So you unsheath
Yep.
them all and sheath the Skeech. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Let's,
I guess.
Let's go ahead and what skill are you using to do the switcheroo?
Ooh, I'm gonna try and use my sleight of hand.
All right,
to
sleight
do
of
that.
Skeech. Let's go
Yeah,
ahead.
sleight of Skeech. Okay,
Sleight of
it's fine. It's
Skeech.
fine. It's totally okay. That's a 6. That's a 15.
15. All right.
It's pretty fun.
And the goblins are caught pretty much unaware, not really unaware, but like what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
You swing out the maul, you sheath the Skeech. You basically just got him hooked up on your on your sheath there.
Just fall to the ground.
Basically, your backpack is like basically stuck right now on her sheath where she's got the maul, that little hook that she's got. You're like, ah!
Sorry.
Just hooked on back there.
Hold tight.
And out comes the maul, up on your feet you come in front of the goblins, and they're like, uh-oh. And the driver goblin starts screeching something down to the other goblins. And
What exactly is it, Screech?
Oh, we'll have to get to your turn.
Spoilers.
Echo.
If you will allow me.
I think the dice are probably going to be the big determinant.
Vaughn
on
sweats
that.
nervously. Hanging on to the horse, I am going to pull out my rope I keep on me, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Vaughn, you ever
Yes?
skipped a rock?" And I'm going to toss some of the rope up to him as I try and grab my shield. And I am
I don't see how this is relevant. Oh no!
to give him the rope and use acrobatics to fling me forward using my shield as a snowboard.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm trying to get to the front,
is
or as far as I can go, because I do still have my spell up, Adrenaline Rush, that makes me
Let's
faster.
see what
So-
happens. What's the worst that could go down?
What's the worst that could happen?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
This
Nothing.
is
Certainly
the
nothing.
Gimli Legolas moment.
Yes.
That is, with acrobatics, a 16.
16. All right. Far be it from me to let a moment of cool slip by. But yes, okay, so the number I rolled was a 9. So up comes the rope. Vaughn begins to kind of protest and realizes whether he protests or not, you're going to go for it. So Vaughn yoinks the rope, like, uh-oh, and kind of leans his body. There's really nothing to wrap it into. There's no saddle. So without even paying attention to see if Vaughn's got your rope, your full trust in your partner there, you drop down, hit the shield, and it hits a rock, and up in the air you go. And as it kind of slings you forward, you can see the goblin that's driving the wagon looks over and sees you coming in, and bam, you land on the passenger seat next to the goblin that's driving. And he looks at you, he's like, ah! And he just jumps off the wagon.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that in a second. Damon, what are you doing, sir?
I don't know. I can't surpass that by any means.
So right now you're looking ahead of you is Anna with something dangling on her back, these little arms, the legs are kind of flailing. She's got her maul out. All of a sudden you see Echo come flying up through the air, riding his shield, and lands on the wagon, and off jumps the goblin.
Okay. How far away am I from the first?
From the first one, so there's still 3 wagon lengths from the wagon that Echo, Skeech, and Anna are on, and you are about 1 horse length back from that wagon that they're on.
Okay. Seeing Echo magnificently go in the air and land and the goblin go off, knowing that he has that for now taken care of, I want to tighten my grip on the horse, and I want to use animal handling to see if I can get it to go faster and go around the wagon to go straight for the first one.
All right. Target is locked.
Oh, okay.
Reroll that since I bopped out of the dock.
$17.
17, very nice. You kick the horse into gear and you swing out past the wagon since nobody's driving it at this point, past the wolves that are dragging the wagon, which gives your horse a little bit of extra oomph, and about halfway between the first wagon and the second wagon, your horse keeps kind of looking back at the wolves that appear to be now chasing it and giving it that little bit of extra motivation to continue moving. And you can see that the gnolls are the ones that are occupying this front wagon, and they're yelling to each other as it's moving forward. Goblins are back in the other wagon panicking, and we go over to Skeech at this point. Skeech, they are the one goblin that hopped off, screamed something like, "Oh no," and when he jumped off, he kind of hit the wagon edge and fell forward, and the wagon kind of runs him over as it moves.
There's a little bump.
Yeah, there's a little the other 3 in the back are like looking at each other right now like,
I I would like to take this opportunity, think about it, all right? The humans have got me! Run! And I would like to deceive them into hopping off the wagon.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Got some tricky goblins.
It's a cock die.
I don't. Yeah, could I?
It's gonna be a 15.
All right. The goblins are like, he's got one of ours! And they proceed to, they're going to actually, for their attack this round, they're going to try to fill Anna full of arrows to save their brethren
Fair.
with a
Yep.
19.
It's the opposite
Okay,
effect.
19 hits.
So you're going to suffer. Ooh, it's right. One's dead. 9 total points of damage.
All right. All right.
From them as arrows go. Tunk, tunk, tunk. And again, most of it, since they're separate arrows each, is absorbed by the splint that you're wearing. More or less, you're getting these uncomfortable little
I tried to get
cuts
them
that
to
are going
run.
on again. As the splint absorbs
It
most
only
of the blow of the
rallied
arrows.
them.
The tips that are kind of poking out at you right now.
First time
And the
goblins
goblins are
tried
like
to
reloading
protect
their
me.
arrows, like, oh, and notch it up and through. The knoll wagon at this point pulls this hard 90 and goes off of the main road and onto a side road at this particular point in time, which the other wagon is not being piloted, will continue forward at this point. And that brings us to the top of the round, which is going to be Vaughn.
The one that is currently not being piloted is one that I have my friends.
That's the one that has your friends on it, yes. Because the driver you see going as you
Dirt net.
pass along.
How far am I from the turnoff where the other cart has taken off?
You will need to maneuver this round to make the turnoff. It will require some sort of skill check at this point.
Question. Am I within 30 feet of the carts with my friends on it?
Yes, you are.
I would like to use Arcana as my ability, but I would like to cast Create Illusion, the sound of a goblin saying in dark speech, "Stop," to the wolves leading the cart.
Very interesting. Let's go ahead and give that a shot.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Well, that certainly beat the skill check that I rolled on that. And the wolves will begin to react here in just a minute when it gets back around to that. And we've jumped over to Mary.
How far away am I from everyone at this point?
At this particular point in time, you are about 2 horse lengths behind Vaughn. And Vaughn is, at this point, maybe about 2 horse lengths behind the wagon where your friends are. So you're about 4 horse lengths away from that back wagon.
I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, which is just kind of praying to my God and encouraging my horse.
If
I
you
will
want to take the path that the Knolls have done, you will have to make a skill check to divert that 90
Okay,
degree.
so I do want to follow them. So with that, I will use my perception to watch to see how they made the turn, perhaps how the horse is kind of where it's hitting, and trying to communicate this to my horse in the correct manner.
All right, go Buttercup.
Oh, Buttercup's getting tired.
Oof.
15.
15. That beats skill check on that. And Buttercup barely makes that turn. I mean, there's a skip and a big wide back end comes swinging out, and then back over you go, kicking up a little bit of dirt as she's galloping along there. She's a good girl. She's got it. She's still trucking along there. Not as
Horse,
spry as
horse.
some of the other ones, but she's still trucking.
That's true,
And
right?
move around to Anna. Wagon is hurtling out of control at this point. You kind of feel it start to slow down just a wee bit, but there are 3 goblins in front of you and 1 on your back. And the one on your back is screeching something that the other ones seem to have reacted to.
You made them so mad. I'm gonna have a. Did I hear Echo land on the front when?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you see this familiar posterior in front of you up on the the seat, where normally there would be a human driver, but there was a goblin driver. But that's good. That's over with now.
Great. So I'm going to assume that he's got it with the wolves. And I would like to. I want to try and not hit them, but hit them all, or just scoop all the goblins at the knees and pop them over the back of the wagon.
Oh my!
Yeah.
This is with the explosive on it.
Yes, but I was just gonna try and use the handle, just scoop them out, so using the closer side
Okay,
of
so
the
you're not
mall.
going to use the head of the mallet. You're going to use the back end.
Yeah.
All right.
To
Let's go ahead and get a check. What skill are you using for
Nice.
that?
Okay, I was thinking either insight to try and figure out the right depth to hit that, where to hit them with, or a nature check to figure out where Where are
trajectory of
goblins?
where they'll go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll let you use either one, but you
Great,
got to pick
okay.
the skill.
Okay, insight. Okay. That's a 6.
6. As you do it, it kind of skips off the edge of the wagon and breezes right past the goblins. As they're screeching something at this particular point in time, again, you don't quite sure what it is.
Cool.
You're pretty sure at this point Skeech is also screeching something back. And we move around to Echo. Quite surprisingly, you find yourself sitting there as the goblin leaps off, and it looks like he's all confident until he trips and disappears. And the reins are just kind of sitting there in front of the wagon, just kind of bouncing around as the wolves are starting to slow down just a little bit at this point.
All right, I pick up the reins and I go, I'm part of the pack now. Go left! And I'm just going to yank the, I learned one thing from cars, and that's go right to go left. So I'm going to try and Tokyo drift this thing by
Yes.
pulling it right and hope they, sling this wagon.
What skill are we using here, boss?
Animal handling.
Animal handling,
All
all right.
That's not good. 9.
9, all right. Skill check. You don't have to make a skill check, you're attached.
Great.
I failed when we got to the wolves. This is so sad.
You got flustered.
Yeah, I know.
We did just fly through the air.
Yeah, that's so fair. That's so fair.
It was disorienting.
Cool. So I would like to try and brace on the sides of the wagon. Use the athletics to do that. 'cause-
All right.
I would like
And,
you to do that as well.
Yeah,
What did you roll?
I rolled an 11. Yeah.
An 11. All right.
Yeah.
Tara has a lot of guests.
So, as
The tension.
Echo attempts to make this maneuver,
Yeah.
basically it kicks the wagon up onto one wheel, and out go the goblins. And over the edge you go.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
But you do grab onto the side of the wagon as it slams back down. You're now hanging onto the wagon as Echo has mostly made that turn and is losing distance with the other wagon in front of him. But you mostly accomplished the turn. Since you were already braced for it, it did not fire you off. Skeech, however, is attached to the back of Anna and is watching the road kind of go that way as you're stuck on the back.
I'm so sorry, Skeech.
And Anna,
die.
I am going to have you actually do a strength check for me real quick, just
Great.
straight strength.
Okay, just a check.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Cool.
You
Oh,
get a
great.
14.
Okay, that's a 22.
22, you hang on to your hammer.
Yay.
Sorry, your hammer, your maul. So you're
Yeah.
braced one arm like this, and the maul's still in the other one, and didn't lose it. All right. Moving back around, Echo did his turn. Percy. Sorry, Damon, I apologize. Got to keep in character.
Have I made the turn, or do I still have to do that as well?
That would I can't remember. I'm sorry, there's a lot going on.
Not yet.
All right, so
Okay.
you're going to have to make your turn, yes.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I guess I use survival to see how they did it, to copy exactly, to stay in tune with them. And if I do make it, how far away am I from the first wagon?
If you make a successful roll, this will basically catapult you forward that you'll be within almost grapple range next round.
Okay, cool. $16.
16. Well, my skill check for that was incredibly low on the DC threshold, so very nicely done. So as the wagon swings out for Echo and Anna and Skeech, you shoot right past that and are just galloping at full tilt off the roadway there. Now again, you've come off the cleared road and you are into what looks like a well-abandoned old, maybe a logging road or something at one point in time. And there are a lot of dips and holes and things like that in the ground. You can also see that the trees have grown really tightly over the roadway itself. So as you do that, you duck your head and one of the low-hanging branches comes past you. Widowmakers. And if anybody knows anything about riding a horse, these are one of the things that you're scared with the most. These are low-hanging branches. We're going to be dealing with that this coming round coming up. Skeech.
Yes, I'm short.
So the goblins were trying to say something about rescuing their friend, and then they go, "Die!" over. You're dangling over the ground as it's rushing by you, and the wagon is now heading off the road and bouncing quite a bit.
Do I hear Echo trying to give orders to the wolves?
Yes, you can hear Echo talking to the wolves and trying to really coax them forward.
Can I try to recall from my experience as a goblin what the commands usually are to get them to move back and forth with a history check?
Nicely done. Yeah, I would definitely. That's well done. Go ahead and roll that with advantage.
Okay, I won't argue that one. So that is going to be a 22.
Wow.
All right. Yes, you do remember the commands that they used on wolves, although you've never gotten to do it yourself.
I will shout up said commands back to Echo and say, "No, you have to say this."
All right. Well, you'll be able to make your checks now with advantage on that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I will echo
Moving
what you
back
said.
around, the Knowles see Damon coming up, and they're not about to let him close the gap and take away their precious prize. So one of them hoists up a javelin, and he's going to attempt to make the horse and Damon one. And
Come on.
the javelin goes past you, just sailing straight off into a branch in one of the trees. I mean, the accuracy was terrible. And you could hear the other two that are right next to him turn and look at him and start barking at him. Obviously, they're giving him some kind of an insult on that, especially since he looks all sad and dejected. And we move back around to the top, and it is Vaughn.
I know I need to use my action to make the turn, but I see Anna and Skeech hanging off the side of the wagon, so I'd like to make it up to them if I can, and attempt to use my acrobatics to help hoist them back up onto it.
Given the turn and the deceleration, if you do a high enough check, you would be able to close the gap and assist next round.
Okay.
Because at this point, you'd be able to come back up and around the side
Okay.
and be able to be in a position to provide assistance. So go ahead and give me some sort of a check for your handling of the animal.
Okay. Sounds good.
So what skill are we using?
I'll give that animal handling for this
Okay,
then.
well, animal handling definitely qualifies as some skill to
18.
handle the animal. That beats the threshold on that, which was a 12. Again,
Yay.
thresholds are set with a die roll plus a certain modifier, and in this case, you got it.
I just want to be up
So
there next to him to support.
You swing your horse up and around. Minus Echo on the front makes it a lot easier to maneuver your horse. As you come up around, you hear Echo barking orders at the wolves. Ha ha ha, funny joke. Anyway, yeah, I know, I was digging for that. But you are in a position now that you can see Skeech like that, flailing on the back, and Anna hanging on for dear life. Buttercup and Mary, you have made the epic turn. You are actually ahead of Echo in the wagon, and you can see Damon up ahead of you, and you can see that a spear was chucked at him, and it just buries itself in a tree somewhere.
How far away am I from?
You do a successful roll this round, and you can be about a horse length behind him.
Okay, we're gonna try to do that again, using my knowledge of the days I was, it's all coming back to me now that Buttercup and I are in our groove. All the days of being out riding around with my dad and him telling me about, horse things. I'm also very short, so it is fortunate for me to duck under these branches. People make fun of you for being short, and now's your time to shine. I'm gonna use it, and with that, I'll use animal handling. And that's a 19 plus 8 will give us another 27.
27. All right. Didn't you use animal handling the last round, though?
I thought I used insight and then perception.
Okay, my bad. I apologize. There's a lot of skill checks, that's why I had to double check. Fantastic. So with the 27, you actually pull right up, and your head of your horse is about where the cheek of Damon's horse is at this particular point in time. And Damon, so basically you feel her pull up next to you. So just kind of give you a spatial awareness of where you are in that. Moving around to Anna. As you're hanging on, you can see Vaughn sliding next to you. He's got a hand out, but at this point in time, he's not able to reach you directly unless you do something.
Okay. Oh no. I guess I would like to get like a good grip on my hammer or on my maul and like try and like solidify my grip on the
edge of the
wagon. Yep. And then try and like flex like a foot back so that Vaughn can brace it to like help.
So you want to basically position yourself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a check on that. What skill are you
I
using?
was gonna use acrobatics.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so it's not a natural one, but it is an unnatural one.
So obviously acrobatics is your strong suit.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
So you, as you reach up there to kind of hoist yourself up, you fall.
Okay, cool.
And down you and Skeech go, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Echo, what are you doing?
So I'm barking these orders to these wolves, and I'm noticing they're youngins, and they've probably been not treated very well. So I'm going to try and use insight to see how hungry and upset they are. And if they do look hungry, like I expect them to be, I will take a piece of rabbit from my pack, attach it to an arrow, and I'm going to try and put it in front of them and then shoot it into the knoll wagon so that they're more motivated to go after the knoll wagon.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Are you still getting advantage from my earlier check?
I am. No, because it's not a direct command.
Yeah.
This is something a little bit different.
So this is insight. That is a. Sorry. Insight. So 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very nice. It seems to be motivating them. That wolves they howl. They begin to gallop faster. And moving around to Damon. Damon, you at this round, if you want to attempt to get onto that other wagon, you are close enough to attempt that.
Okay, cool. I want to take, because I'm still hanging off the side of the horse.
Yes, you are.
I never got back
I'm
on
coming.
it.
Yeah.
I want to reach behind me and take out one of my daggers, put it between my teeth, reach back, take out another one, and then using acrobatics, I want to jump from the horse to the wagon and use my dagger to impale it in the wood, and then if I make it, I'll take out my other dagger and do that and start to climb to the top.
I see what you're doing. I'm tracking. All right, let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens.
Please don't fail me. Please don't fail me. 22.
All right. So hanging onto the horse for dear life, all of a sudden changes. This inspiration kind of flushes over Damon's face as he kind of sees his moment. And what happens is he kind of drops down a wee bit, feet hit the ground, and catapult him up, and he swings with the horse towards the wagon. And the dagger comes out in both hands, and boom, stuck in the wagon. And
Yes.
you look up, you see one of the gnolls who's looking down, quite surprised that you're right there, like, "Arr!" And we move over to Skeech. Skeech, you're tumbling. At first you're like, yay, and all of a sudden Anna's grip releases, and you start heading towards the ground.
This is Skeech's moment to be strong. I would like to try to grab the side of the wagon and hold us both up,
All
which
right.
shouldn't work.
Let's go ahead and give it a check.
I would like to make this with an athletics check.
Is that your strong suit?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Natural 20. Total of 19.
It's a nat 20, so it doesn't really matter anyway across the board. All right, Anna, as you start to try to brace yourself up and kick that leg up for Vaughn, you see Vaughn is reaching out. Like,
It
all of a sudden
really couldn't
you're like,
have.
oh, and as you begin to fumble, you stop, and you're like, honk, and you're like now being held up, and you're like watching the road go in. And you see Skeech is not only holding on with his hands and his feet, but he's biting into the side.
All the veins
of the
in my
wagon.
neck are popping.
His little eyes, his eyes are now like totally bloodshot from all the strain that he's got. He's like, just hanging on there. And you can actually see wood splinters are stuck in his gums and stuff. As he's just hanging onto the wagon at this point, just manhandling.
I didn't want to die.
Adrenaline is an amazingly motivating thing. All right. So, moving around, the Widowmakers. At this point in time, as you all are trucking down the road, these low-hanging branches are zipping by you. So, Vaughn, Mary, and our Knowles, you don't count because you are actually on the back of that wagon. So, Echo, Vaughn, and Mary, go ahead and give me some form of a skill check to avoid being hit in the head by a Widowmaker.
Survival for this?
Position myself on
What's
the
that?
side
Being
of
short.
the wagon.
Go ahead and give me your rolls.
You carried me.
What skill are you using?
Survival.
Let's do it. Survival's a good choice.
11.
11. All right. Mary.
Survival 13.
13.
Can I
Echo.
use Constitution to just tank them?
What did you roll? It better be high.
11. Oh, wait. Do I get the thing still?
But we still have
You should still have it, but this will be the last round that is going to be
And
active.
14.
14. All right. And the knoll. All right. So, as Vaughn is trying to duck, he gets clocked, and he's actually laying back at the horse right now. You lose 5 hit points from a head injury. You catch a branch as well and lose 5 points. You're still hanging on. Echo gets just clipped and flips into the back of the wagon with nobody driving it at this point in time. And
There's nobody back
Echo
there
is
either.
stunned for a round.
Okay.
Because he's like, I'll take this. Bam! Like, oh! And it just carried him to the back.
Wrong.
Damon, as you are sitting there and you've got the dagger stuck in, you look up and the Knoll's looking down and there's this nasty grin on his face. And you can see him pull out his sword and he's ready to stab you. And all of a sudden this branch hits him from back behind and he goes off. And he's sailing over the top of your head and he eats the dirt. The rest of you don't notice what's happening there because there's other things happening. Although the wagon with the wolves goes for a second like that. And we go back over to Vaughn.
I right myself in the saddle, wipe the blood from my eyes and my face, get my wits about me, and I'm still going to use my action to finish getting these two back on.
You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to make a control to get yourself back up and in operational order again. You just ate a branch.
Unfortunate. I ate
But
branches
the
for
horse
breakfast.
hasn't slowed down. So at least you've got that going for you at this point.
Cool. Very well. So I guess I'll use my acrobatics to ride the horse and see if we can stay on the right course.
All right.
We'll see about that. That's going to be 12.
12. And that would be enough to get you where you need to be and back up where you are.
Am I rattled, but okay?
You're still hanging on to the horse. It is still moving forward. I mean, you lost 5 hit points. You got a little bit of blood kind of trickling down from where you got hit. But you're like, man, I'm really glad this thing comes with a helmet. And you're going to have to make a control roll at this point in time to maintain what you're doing.
Using prayer and a little bit of medicinal, meditative knowledge, I'm going to try to quickly center myself mentally and literally write myself up like, all right, shake it off, let's go. So that's a 1.
That's a 1. Oof. All right. Pass it along.
Just start chanting as we pass this on.
I know, right?
That was such a
I was pretty
that was
nervous.
so stressful. It just kept rolling around. It is not red. But I was,
Oh my god.
All right. So while you do not suffer anything absolutely terrible happening right there,
great.
basically you're going to have to spend the round after this recovering again,
Shaking it off.
and the horse is slowed down so you now have distance between the two of you.
Okay.
Going over to you all in the back of the, sorry, you all are hanging on.
Yep.
With Skeech. At this point you look over at Vaughn, who's like kind of and recovering. And you can see the low-hanging branches zipping by from the trees there. And you hear Skeech making these really puffing kind of sounds. He's hanging on for everything he's got.
Okay. I would like to look around on the wagon as much as I can for convenient handholds to try and either lift myself back up over the lift, or at least take a bunch of weight off of Skeech.
All right.
Okay, using perception. Okay, that's a 9.
That's a 9.
That's a 9.
At this point, you really are, you're just kind of like, and you're like, unless you do something drastic, i.e.,
Yeah.
forcing him to release, you're not able to turn around and grab what you need.
Okay.
So next round, we'll have to take a look at that. Echo, go ahead and give me a recovery roll. You're laying in the back of the wagon right now trying to figure out which way is up.
Currently having a conversation with the purple tiger in my head. That is a, what am I adding, Constitution?
Yes.
8.
8. All right. So for this round, you've got the little birdies circling about. You're having conversations with relatives you didn't know you had. And Echo is down for the count on this one. And the wagon is... Wow. Okay. We'll talk about that in a little while too. Damon, your adversary has disappeared over your head and onto the roadway. And as you kind of look back over, you can see that the wolves in the other wagon ran him over. And
I would like to use athletics to climb a board. And if I do make it, I want to keep kind of low to the floor so I don't get hit by the branches.
all right.
And you said this was the last round with...
That was the last round with the blessing. That was on you all. About 60 seconds worth of time.
So
for your-
this is the last... This is it?
That last round was. So
Okay.
this is straight rolls at this point, unless you can convince your
Probably won't
cleric
channel
to.
after that either. I gotta touch him.
If you can tell, athletics is my strong
You got this.
There was a lot of.
That's a 9.
A 9. All right. As you stick the daggers in, you make it up, and you look over the top, and you see the other 5 gnolls, actually 4 gnolls, because one of them is driving, looking at you with these big smiles on their faces. And Skeech, roll to maintain, or unless you're going to try something super amazing.
I was gonna try to deceive myself into believing I could do this. Do you want a duplicate roll to maintain?
Yes, go ahead and give a roll.
Let's get the good one.
Yeah.
Just one more time.
No whammies, big bucks.
A 7 is a whammy, right?
It's not a whammy, but it's definitely not what you wanted. All right, so Skeech gives it his all to hold you all up. Unfortunately, there's this disadvantage that he's at with the weight that he carries, plus the weight that you carry.
Yep.
And he's like, and his little claws are digging in, and they kind of rake up and over the edge, and like he actually has this chunk of wood in his teeth as he releases his grip, unfortunately, with his claws, and begins to tumble away.
Oh, no.
And we move back over to the gnolls, and so the gnolls all throw their javelins at you, and it all hits the edge of the wood that you're hanging on. You're like, I mean, like,
Is it like
you're-
outline?
it's in between your fingers as you're hanging on there, like, whoa! And they're all like looking at each other, like, you've got to be kidding me. This like facial expressions, like, oh man. And top of the round to Vaughn. Oh, actually, hold on. Environmental, I apologize. About this point in time, the driver on the Knoll wagon hits something, and the whole wagon goes up in the air and back down again. Go ahead and make a strength check to hold on.
Grab the spears.
It's a 7.
That's a whammy.
So, all right, at this point in time, as the wagon hits the log that's in the middle of the road, and it catapults and kicks it up in the air, you see Damon get launched up in the air, kind of does this little tumble thing, and lands back down real hard on the edge of the wagon, like that. But he does manage to hang on. The
Wasn't
gnolls
a
that
double
were
whammy.
driving the
Wasn't a
wagon and
double.
sitting in the back, I rolled double ones, launch up into the air, and I need the red die, please.
Oh.
Oh, smart.
All right, everyone say
Is
a
that
prayer
one
for the
for
gnolls.
each one?
The die.
So
We need a
that's
win.
the number that you don't want to roll on the die, just in case the audience had any questions on that. So the wagon hits and it catapults him up in the air. The one Knoll is still hanging onto the reins as he swings back and under the wagon, and you're not quite sure what happens there, but there's kind of a bump. The other ones that were sitting in the back that had just thrown their javelins at Damon, it's this scatter shot of gnolls through the air, and the wolves keep on going forward for just a little bit, and then the wagon does this tip and goes sliding to a halt up against one of the trees. And back over to you all, because you're going to be reacting to that same log this round. You are in the midst, you just recovered.
Yes, and
You see Anna and Skeech falling away.
I would like to.
We dodged the log.
Yeah, we
That's right.
No, your wagon hasn't hit the log yet. It'll.
We're not on that way.
Oh yeah, well, technically, yeah. Unfortunately, when we get around to Echo, we'll have to deal with that in just a second.
Stay with me on this one. This is what I'm asking for. I would like to use my deductive reasoning skills to find the most opportune, perfect location to extend my hand out and somehow get most of Anna's weight while also grabbing Skeech holding on to Anna. I want to use investigation as I am just Sherlock Holmesing this exact location.
All right, let's give it a
Calculating.
shot here. Let's see what happens.
I can see the numbers.
I'm like, let me go to my mind palace.
18.
18. All right, so
There it is.
wow. Okay. As the numbers and all the mathematics are rolling through on your head, you just basically reach out at that point and make that grab because you're just like, numbers suck. And basically, where you grab down hits the harness piece between the two of them and almost yoinks you off your own horse. basically you are grabbing onto the rein and the hair, and you're hanging down, and Anna's feet are kind of skipping off the ground as you're hanging onto the two of them. Skeech, you can feel the hand, whatever it is behind you right here.
That's the one guy.
And we move around. Mary.
So am I reoriented?
Oh, actually, hold on. I forgot. We need to finish up one quick thing there, Vaughn. Oh,
What did
we
I
got a
do?
piloting roll because the log. You've now got to jump in the air, holding Anna and Skeech.
We did not
and the
dodge the
horse.
log.
Not yet.
Very well.
So,
Oh no.
what skill are you using?
I dare say it would have been investigation to deduce where this log was. I think please go for survival if I may.
I would like to try to survive too. That's probably a good idea. Yes. 13 is your number to beat.
Tell me these things. Would you please pass that die over?
Oh, no.
This log is gonna
Wait, it's
kill
not
more
flat.
people than any monster.
I feel like this tracks though with me loose in the saddle.
This is going horribly wrong.
This is how every day goes. Oh.
Oh, let it lie.
Nope. Sorry, gotta roll it in the box.
Ah.
Okay.
It's not red.
It's not red?
It's not red.
All right. Vaughn, you all tumble off the horse.
Oh.
As it makes the jump, you can't hang on. However, when you all hit the ground, you kind of roll off into the brush, and nobody is dead. All of you take 6 points of abrasion, concussion style damage. I mean, you don't have a concussion, but you got the wind knocked out of you. You got a bunch of dirt and stuff on your armor. Things are kind of scratched up, but again, you're still alive at this particular point in time. And your horse has continued on down the roadway towards the other wagon. Mary.
So I'm righted from the last hit.
Actually, yes. So you're sitting there. Oh, no. You're recovering, I believe.
So I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1, yes. So you need to recover and beat a 19 for the jump. So all in one shot, basically. Pick a skill and try to beat a 19 on that.
Just tank the log. It works great.
Constitution's not quite as high. Well, I've got my animal handling back up, and there's no reason I can't say a very, very strongly worded prayer, and I will be doing just that. 14.
14. Okay. The Buttercup makes the jump, and not being a terribly skilled horse, you're also don't do the jump very well. However, you don't go tumbling off your horse with a 14. You hit hard. The horse kind of skids, and all forward momentum is stopped at this point, which is not so bad because you see the wagon in front of you at this point kind of tumble over, and all the people that are in the wagon kind of spill out. They're all tied up like, "Arr!" And Anna,
Great.
you went rolling across the ground with Vaughn, and fortunately you didn't take a heavy-duty massive damage from the initial fall, but Vaughn did brace you, but again, you all went down. You are actually at this point tumbling, and Skeech is on your back. You can try to take more of the brunt of the hit from him, or you can let it roll.
Yeah. I guess I want to try and pull Skeech in and just like football.
Ooh.
Hold
Get
him
the touchdown.
and,
I'm
like,
pretty
roll
football
around.
shaped.
Give me,
I guess.
give me a skill check.
Okay.
7 points.
Yeah. Great. So I guess I'd like to just like with that muscle him over with the. I guess that's really an acrobatics check though, huh? Could I convince you for athletics though? It's like such a
I'll let you manhandle that. That's
Great,
or woman
fantastic.
handle that. I
Yeah,
guess in this
and
case.
just maybe try and kick up off the ground so I get a little bit of air to get the roll have a little more time.
Let's see what athletics does for you.
Oh, fantastic. That's a 24.
All right, as you start to
Yeah.
roll through the air, you reach
Yeah.
over and grab Skeech and just yoink him forward and
Yeah.
tuck him in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His backpack is towards the outside.
Uh-huh.
His face, everything is kind of nestled in towards you though. So basically your back
Mhm.
and his backpack are absorbing the roll. So you only take half damage on that, so it's 3 points. You do take the full amount for the roll,
Fantastic.
but
Martyr
you
to
stop
save.
Skeech from
Yeah.
getting crushed along your backside there.
Skeech.
From becoming just a skeech.
And Echo,
Yes.
your wagon
It's gonna be
strikes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oof, wow.
All his muscles
You're in the
are
back,
waxed.
and it begins to toss the remaining contents of the wagon back over. Because when the wolves hit it, it snaps.
They don't try and avoid the log.
They're trying to jump over it, and
Okay.
basically what happens is they leap, and the wagon strikes it and kind of hits over the log. At this point, it snaps the front part, and the wolves continue to run that way as the wagon that you're in careens off that direction.
That's a problem. I better wake up then. 14.
14. All right, you put yourself together enough to kind of brace yourself in the wagon as it rolls to a stop, and you don't take any additional damage past that.
Okay.
Damon, the front wagon begins to pitch and toss.
So it already is like on its side, like
Yeah,
sliding?
as it's sliding, you are hanging on at this point from where you hit the edge.
Okay.
You need to make some sort of a skill check to prevent getting crushed under the wagon at this
I
point.
want to kind of, I guess, like since it's on its side, I want to like swing around. I guess use acrobatics, grab the like javelins, and like pull in close to the floor so that I can not die.
I'll let you do that with advantage.
Oh, thank God. I'm so scared.
The number to beat is a 15. Oh.
I got a 12.
You got a 12. All right. So you grab the javelins and swing yourself in. Unfortunately, as the wagon is kind of bouncing around, you do get bumped a bit. You take 2 points of damage,
Okay.
but nothing further past that. You got some bruises, but you're alive. And you noticed as all the people are kind of tumbling out as the wagon, they're not flying all over the place or anything along. They're just kind of spilling out as they go. Yeah. You're sure people have some cuts and some bruises. Maybe somebody had something a little bit more than that, but outside of that, it's certainly not being eaten by gnolls, which seems to be a much better alternative than where it could have been. However, you do see that both of the wolves are laying there injured. And we move over to Skeech at this point, who has been tucked up into Anna, and you guys are kind of resting as you look up into her
Everything
face.
moved so fast.
Yeah.
When I lost control, I was flung down. I was lifted up very slightly. I felt like the hand of the one god. Then there was a sudden jolt, and everything went black. So I assume I'm dead. I'm just gonna
When you
relax.
look up, here's Anna's face
I
smiling
thought I
down
was
at you.
buried down in there. Or have we come
Well,
to a stop?
you're tucked into her chest. Your backpack is right here, but you can look up and see her smiling down at you.
Thanks.
Mommy.
And that concludes our chase sequence there, which was actually supposed to
Oh my
be a
God.
big final battle, but unfortunately, all my poor critters suffered horrible rolls. So we won't be having a giant battle sequence tonight. But this is
Nature
where we're
was the
going
battle.
to end our show for the evening. And we thank you all very much. And hope that you'll come back and see us again next week, same time and same station. So thank you all very much, and you have yourselves a wonderful week.
Bye.